All right. Whoa, I didn't expect my voice to sound like that at first. I think it's just a bubble. I have a glass of water. It's on another desk. This camera doesn't seem primed. Let me see if I can press the button again. Maybe I'll look a little better. A little bit. I think it took a little bit of the edge off of the brightness. How's everybody doing today? I want to finish this thing up. I got some parts for the RC car too. I got the parts that'll let me. Where's my social stream blade? I don't want to open all those windows again. Oh yeah, let's get my chats all set up here just in case anyone happens to be watching. Let's see. So that would be this one I want, and I want to reload it. And the YouTube one should be up, although you guys don't get the music. Close that, unless it's coming in through the mic. Mute that. Let's pop that chat out. Where is that one? Pop out chat. There we go. Now I gotta find the link to my social stream. Hey, what's up, Madam You? Oh, I do actually have, there's actually a YouTube comment. My God. All right, let's see, social stream. Now, which one is it? Is it that one? Oh no, that's not the right one. There it is, found it. I found it in my links because the Stream Deck opens it up every time. And that's Social Streamblade is a URL-based thing. All your settings are in the URL for the Streamblade. And that means that I can have, behind these windows, I can have chat. That's both chats. It's both YouTube and Twitch. So I can see everything and moderate the hell out of you guys. So I got the part after the RC car accident. I got the parts back in, and I just finished putting them all together. Check this out. All right, let me get these. Oh, I didn't get everything in yet. Never mind. Never mind, I lied. I'm a filthy liar. I'm gonna bring some parts over. I'll just assemble these while we're waiting. The background music for those on Twitch is Cult of the Lamb still. The soundtrack is hot fire. So I wanted to listen to it a little bit. So a little while ago, here, let's get this out of here. A little while ago, I got into 1/24th scale RC cars, and it's not like there's a track or anything near me, right? So I'm basically just blasting this thing outdoors. I think it's a 750 kilovolt, or no, 7,500 kilovolt, kV rather. It's not kilovolt, it's kV. 7,500 kV motor is just to the point where if I over accelerate, I lose grip. Like grip, it's basically on glass when I'm accelerating just at the limit of what this motor can do, or just before the, well, actually no, it's probably mid limit of what this motor can do. Yeah, I did a whole 3D print thing to hold all the electronics on the top bar, keep the center of gravity low. If I was a super duper professional, with the super professionals, what they do is with the pan car, it'll be rear wheel drive only for weight reasons. You'll have a heavy base plate in order to keep things stable, and then you'd split the battery apart and put half of the battery on one side, half on the other. So you get your motor, your battery, and then your electronics on top of that. But I use DOS Micro stuff, which is even smaller than most of the electronics you get have an enclosure around them. These don't, and so I'm free soldering all the wires up and everything. I found the only place the motor could really fit, and then yeah, everything else is just as low as I can get it. And I replaced the carbon fiber, very thin carbon fiber, top bar with a 3D print. So now it's all one homogeneous piece. Homogeneous piece. What'd you just call me? I'm glad you think I'm smart, but I think you're making some assumptions. But yeah, now it's all going back together. I got a new pinion gear because this thing had this severe stuttering. And we had a stream where I built this thing just because I'm a giant man-child and I bought an RC car and I wanted to live my inner 10-year-old and bring Twitch chat with me, build a super duper sweet RC car. I mean, there's a lot of adults that do RC stuff too. It's fun having a little tiny car to maintain. Real cars are full of anxiety. And nobody allows you to go fast anymore, so I might as well build a tiny little toy car that I can go fast with. Very satisfying. I'm into all the wrong hobbies, and I love it. All the wrong hobbies. Do girls talk to machinists? Maybe I should be doing more machining. RC Cars certainly ain't doing it. The soundtrack is just the hottest fire. I almost should play the game just to listen to the soundtrack. There we go. If I tuck the wires into these little clips, they're very, very clean. And I want cleanliness in my wiring. Clean, clean, clean. Of course, I could bring this inboard a little bit more, but it is like a millimeter from touching this center gear. I don't know what they were thinking. They wanted to have all-wheel drive, but it would have been better if they flipped the motor around, had it facing this direction, and then had this gear here, and had a little the little rod connecting into the front wheel drive section, because it gets this gear out of the way. It would be here mid-battery. It gets the wiring away from that gear, because I've got these little C-clips that are holding the battery in place. That or hold the battery in place in a different way. But that's just what it is. It's what it's. I mean, I could try to reduce that the piece of carbon fiber with a little hook on it, but still, it's just weird design. I guess if it were facing the other way, it would be harder to change out the pinion if you really want to get into tuning. Or harder to change out whatever. I keep saying pinion, it's my catch-all for the word gear. Makes me sound smarter. What up, Wayne Johnson? Look at this thing. I love it. I'm gonna have to take it outside and hopefully not break it immediately like I did last time. Ooh, there's a little feeling. What's skipping there? Seems like the rear gear is dislodging. That's not it. Why did it feel weird? Yeah, it might be the rear pinion's a little bit far away. Because like if I lock that down, yeah, that's skipping there with a lot of force. This one's skipping with very little force. So I probably have to move a washer in order to cinch it up, but in order to get the rear off, I got to take all this stuff away. The differentials are like what they started with when designing this thing. But this thing is fast, it's super speedy, and it's very controllable. I'm shocked. Compared to the WL Toys kit, the WL Toys kit is a bunch of disparaging parts, but with the new pinion in there, that I literally just put in a new pinion into the front, it no longer skips. It just kind of freewheels back and forth. So that's good. Smooth is good. Oh, that was a sub. Wayne Johnson, thank you for the 47 months. Man, I feel like you just subbed. Where did this month go? Yikes. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. You guys have stuck with me, and I appreciate it. I do. Put the screwdriver away. We're not really going to need it today, but I just think it's cool. The only thing that I lack with this kit is a full 3D model, which, oh, that's a lot of work. I did that with the WL Toys kit. I have a full 3D model, and it would be kind of fun to figure out how to build our own, like, hardcore 1/24th Z car, mini Z. That would be actually a lot of fun to figure out, because there's a lot of very small 3D prints. We could get away with being a little bit less tight with all the stuff. Like, this thing is real crazy with all the stuff that it uses, but I think we could make a 3D printed frame that would be a similar philosophy to this one, but with slightly larger hardware. That'd be pretty cool. So we had an earthquake earlier today. That's one thing I got to report on. An earthquake. It originated 7 kilometers, east of such and such town, New Jersey. I wanted to say Hackensack, but that's not the right. It basically, and this happened the last giant eastern earthquake, is that it felt like somebody was just wheeling, like, okay, so in the building that I used to work in, the floors were tiled, right? They were able to pull up floor panels, and actually my brother, who at the time was working in IT, he made a robot that he was able to take into classified facilities, because all the robot is a little robot frame, an Ethernet cable plugged into the back of it, and he just had a controller that was a couple switches, right? A couple switches to just activate the motors and move the robot right or left. And I think he wanted to do one that had the thing that could come up and around and go over, because you've got a bunch of cables inside the Ethernet line, and he did that for running Ethernet lines. So if you're running an Ethernet line through one of these drop floors, you pull up the section of floor, and all of the floor is held up in like a grid. It's just like drop ceilings, right? You have drop ceilings and drop floors, so you have full control over the wiring of things, and you can run all the wires without tripping employees, right? So he made a robot that was able to traverse that. Well, the robot, first of all, was able to get into a classified facility because it had no intelligence to it at all whatsoever. It was a battery and switches and motors. That was it. So he was able to get that checked out, get into a classified facility with it, and then pull up the tile, run the robot, plug in the Ethernet at both sides, easy peasy done. I was so proud of my brother that day, because he's not, I mean, he got me into the remote control stuff and everything, but he's not taking anything as far as I do. So, but that was such a great idea. What's up, RYG? But yeah, anyway, so the last time I experienced an Eastern earthquake, it was at a facility like that with the drop ceilings and the drop tile floors. It would be like, not, what's the opposite of dropping? It would be like pickup tiles. You drop ceiling because you drop the tiles into the ceiling. Is it a drop floor because you drop the tiles onto the floor? I don't know. Anyway, the point is, it felt like somebody was moving a milling machine on a cart from one end of the hallway to the other, and the cart was bumping each support area, like, you know, because the tiles are supported in a grid. So if you moved like a really heavy cart across it, it would go bump, 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 bump as you move across. That's what it felt like when the previous earthquake hit. And me and a coworker were looking at each other, and all of the cabinets were like banging open and closed because nobody locks their cabinets. That happened for a little while, and then we exited the facility. Well, this time I was on the shitter just like a couple hours ago, and same thing. It felt like a huge truck was going by outside, or somebody had a very heavy piece of equipment and was rolling it across a drop tile floor. Bum, 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 but it was much deeper of a note. And so it's like, what the hell just happened? Reddit used to be really good at this stuff, so I go on Reddit and I look at new. Nobody's talking about it for a little while. Google the seismometer sites. It turns out it was a 4-point something or other, just east of New York, New Jersey-ish. And yeah, we feel them very quickly. Word of the earthquake spreads a little faster than the earthquake, but the earthquake still spreads really, really quickly because we've got a lot of rock here. That's why New York is able to exist. It's because of all the rock that makes everything super stable for skyscrapers. But yeah, that enables seismic waves to travel really quick in the Northeast. So yeah, I was on the shitter during that one. Turns out a bunch of people were, though. Believe it or not. I guess it was that time in the morning cycle when everybody poops. Thanks, Mother Earth. You really helped me poop. Nobody's going to hear that because nobody's here because it's Friday, right? Who's here? Yeah, I have several viewers, I'll have you know. That's right. Thankful for the people that I have. It's just funny to comment on how nobody's here. At least I got commenters on both YouTube and Twitch already, so I'm feeling pretty good about that one. I'm gonna get my glass of water. Water. Don't forget we're in Philly. My water. If you hate my taste in music, just join YouTube. There's no music there. No fun, no music. I went back to watch the Plinkett review. The Plinkett Star Wars prequel review. What's up, Julian 1759? I should probably send Hajiwo a message to tell him that I'm doing his content, huh? I forgot to do it, and he's probably on Japanese time, so. Well, anyway, I went back to watch the Red Letter Media Plinkett review, the Phantom Menace one, and they have been destroyed by YouTube's no fun policy. A lot of the music has been pulled, or you know, whatever that AI music delete thing is, and oh man, it's tough. I should also probably make the viewing window really, really small, because it's the old 480p days of of YouTube. But yeah, I didn't get through much of it, but it just seems like the copyright police have really destroyed all the fun on the internet, huh? Put chat all the way over here. So yeah, we're gonna work on that voltage controlled filter. I'll probably start pretty soon because I'm just champing at the bit to start. I really want to work on this thing because we made a lot of progress yesterday. We got a couple things to follow through in. We got a plan. I've got the full schematic and everything, so we just finish that up and then we can test it. That'll be fun too because I'm gonna pump a frequency into it and just see how the filter responds and how I ended up building it versus how Haji Woes responds. We can take a look at his YouTube video of it and try to hit it with the same stuff. I think he's hitting it with audio though, and I don't know precisely what frequency it is, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully we can ooh and ah people looking for something to watch on this Friday, this earthquakey Friday. Whoa, okay. Then I splashed water on me. Stupid. I got a drinking problem. It was that I didn't find where my mouth was and poured water on my face. At least it didn't hit the mic. I'm excited about the RC car. I think now that I've done that, the new pinion and I've replaced all the parts that exploded. Oh yeah, I had an accident. You can see part of my front protector is completely broken off because this thing tumbled, and when it tumbled, the what was it? The rear wheel, the rear, I think it's driver's. Yeah, it's this one. Oh no, it wasn't the rear. It was the front. How did it? No, these are the rears. These are the rears. Okay, this one here, whatever the hell this one is, it ended up bang hitting the ground. Everything is conspiring against me today. The first subreddit that I saw actually post something about the earthquake. The first subreddit to actually mention the earthquake on Reddit, at least when I was hitting refresh, was the conspiracy subreddit. Crazy. There's more official threads now, but it's like, how are they the first ones to post about this? The lady on the news was like, we know, we felt it too. We will be reporting on it. Our phones are exploding right now. But yeah, anyway, so this thing tumbled, and when it tumbled, it went, and that broke off it basically broke the pin off of this hinge right here. What's up, Walrus? How you doing? It's my viewer, Amazing Walrus. Welcome, my viewer. There's like nobody around today. Nobody's listening. Nobody's watching. That's okay though. I have a project that I want to finish. Yeah, so this thing ate shit pretty bad. It did a big old tumble at high speed because I had the 7,500 kilowatt motor in here, and so it went bam, and then it broke the outer pin through the hinge, and so I ordered new A-arms. They were $2, and at the same time the spring up here jettisoned and disappeared. It completely vanished. And so I keep looking around my neighborhood. I keep looking around when I'm taking Willow for walks for a piece of red and a spring. But I bought new springs. They were $2. I bought a new A-arm. It was $2. And I had to get new pins. Those were $2. And then I bought a the gear that goes directly to the differential. The one that I had was a little bit damaged. It had some weird stuff going on because I used the vise to scrunch it in. So I put the new one in, and now there's no longer a hard spot on the gears. So this thing just freewheels. It just very easily skids along, which is exactly what it should do. There should be very little drivetrain resistance from this thing, which, I mean, there is going to be quite a bit because it's all-wheel drive. There's a lot of drivetrain for it to have. But now this thing is smooth as frig. It's too bad, you know, it's too bad nobody races these things around here. Ooh, I just felt a hard spot. What the hell was that? Right there. Ooh, ooh, it's still, wait a minute. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Well, that's on this one. I wonder if, I don't think the gear is damaged. Yeah, there's a hard spot right there. Ooh, I don't like that at all. I gotta look at this one again. Maybe I need to move the, maybe I need to move the spacers around. Yeah, it looks like if I push on this side and I push it this way, it's smooth again. Yeah. I gotta move a spacer from here to there, and then it'll be smooth again, I think. Getting gears to mesh has been the hardest part about this kit. But anyway, it's super duper smooth now. I've got super soft compound on the tires. I'm ready to beat some race. Nobody does anything with RC like this around here. Maybe I can Google it. I do admit I did not look very closely at my area to see if there are some good RC shops, but I have a feeling that this sad fat guy is going to show up to a sad fat racing league. Actually, I would be at home if they were all fat. Like, hello, what's up? Let's go get a cheeseburger and race little RC cars around. That'd be awesome. What I need is enough space to just run laps on my own and get used to this thing, but it's pretty cool. Compared to the WL Toys kit, the whole reason that I got this thing was to compare it to the WL Toys kit. Not because I'm a giant man baby who wanted to have a cool RC car, but because I wanted to compare it to the WL Toys kit, which is a fraction of it's like a quarter of the price. Less than a quarter of the price. And the WL Toys kit, if you get it, you don't run it right away. You break it down to its bones, and you use grease on just about every surface you possibly can. You get off all of the plastic flashing with knives and files, and once you're done kniving and filing the thing to within an inch of its life, it's actually a really good 1/24th scale all-wheel drive RC car. It does not hold a candle to this thing. This thing comes in a smattering of parts. You put them all together, you learn how it works, you adjust things because you can, and you run spacers back and forth until you're ready to scream, and then when you put this thing on the road, it is the most competent thing that you've ever driven. The WL Toys is still a toy, and it is competent, but you can chuck it around without too much regret because there's a lot of WL Toys parts on the market. There are replacement parts for the Atom, but I don't know, the WL Toys ones you can get from a variety of sellers instead of just from the company itself. Something weird back here is still kind of catching, and it might not be, it might just be something that I'll never feel that, because when it's driven from here, that catching doesn't happen because there isn't the pressure on the drivetrain. I don't know, but I'm super happy with this thing. What I need to do next is take this piece off and put it on the photocopier and then make a Fusion 360 part out of it, because I want to put a spoiler back here. And that spoiler will help save this thing from when it tumbles and it goes bam against there. Instead, it'll hit my 3D print, which is 75 cents worth of filament instead of $2 and 7 days of waiting. All right, this thing goes back on the other desk. Too distracting, I say. All right, well, get started in just a minute here. I gotta move the fan, I'm already sweating. Anyone else here in the Northeast? You guys feel that? Mouthful of water. Let's see. Yeah, Wayne Johnson, thank you for the sub. I have insulin. I ate a sandwich. I had an earthquake. Not usually part of the procedure. I got all my titles right. I've got a circuit sitting in front of me. I have a schematic. I think we should get started. I think I'm ready to get started. I would listen to the soundtrack and build this thing exclusively, but we're not going to have a quiet stream. I got to turn this off. I got to hit pause on the video in case I have to go to the bathroom, and then I have to hit start soon, and I'm ready to go. I'm raring to go. I'm coming. Hi, welcome to the Northeast, where we just had another earthquake. Just in case the intro's cut for any other reason, I'm going to reiterate everything that I just said. We had an earthquake here just like a couple hours ago, so all the news agencies are starting to spool up their emergency breaking news. Actually, no, they already have. It's already broadcasting. It was fun to watch the amount of time between, oh, was that What's rumbling? What's that noise? It sounds like somebody is moving something like a milling machine on a cart, something really heavy on a cart on a floor that has like gratings, not a grating, but like bumps in it. So bum 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 bum, and it's like super low tone. And I was like, is that a truck? It's too low for a truck. It's too universal. Too big for a truck. Is that an airplane? It's not an airplane. It's an earthquake again. Yeah, we just had another one, and that was a unique experience because that was the last one we had was many years ago. So you kind of are like, memory banks, what was that like again? And I remember the same exact analogy, somebody moving something heavy through a hallway and you just happen to be on the same floor and everything is rumbling. So nothing serious. It was a 4 something or other magnitude up in New Jersey. We've got a lot of rock here in the Northeast. Things travel very quickly. And so, yeah, that was weird. And I was one of 3 people that were taking a poop during the earthquake. I'm sure there are others too. We should form a brotherhood. But anyway, it was interesting. I was like, oh no, the emergency responders are going to find me with a shitted ass. That's very embarrassing. Buried in the rubble, butt in the air. We're working on a voltage-controlled filter. There's literally no way that I could segue a voltage-controlled filter into what I was just talking about. There's nothing. I mean, we had to rip off the Band-Aid. I've been working on a synthesizer for quite some time. If this is your first experience with Oh Bother, I work on projects with the fervor of a intelligent, super ADHD person. We jump around with a bunch of different projects. Lately, I have been focusing a little bit more on individual things, but we just built a voltage-controlled oscillator. We've been doing a lot of synthesizer projects. We need to get back to what's called burn the subs, which is some of that hardware that's sitting there in between the synthesizers. So we need to do that. You know, every day I look at this stuff. So people come in here and they say, you know, why don't you work on burn the subs? And it's like, I see it every day. I just don't want to be burnt out on it, because if I hate the project, you guys will hate me working on the project because I'll be really snippy. Anyway, so we'll get back to burn the subs. But for now, I want to get more elements of that synthesizer done so that, first of all, I can get Julian and Dave back in here. Those are my musician friends who are big into modular synthesizers. Julian has a beautiful setup, and he can make some really cool sounds with it. I love getting him in here to make cool sounds. The way I'm getting him in here is not just by always building him stuff. I'm building him wait a minute. I'm building him the VCO, so I can, you know, give him a copy of this, what amounts to just a couple bucks of parts. I mean, it's probably not $11 like Hajiwo's original design. This one, I would sell this for like 60 bucks, right? That would probably, I would have to do the math on it, to be honest. 60 is really just a seat of my pants cost estimate that gives me a little bit of money on top. But what we did is we took a design from Hajiwo, who builds very cheap synthesizer equipment. You guys should check him out. It's a really cool channel. Here's a picture of it. That's not it. Here's a picture of it. Earthquake S&P waves. If I had all the equipment and I set it all up and I knew that the Northeast was going to get another earthquake, how would I do? I'm not clairvoyant. But we took a design from Hajiwo, who used an RP2040 and some stuff that he knew about the way PWM works, and a Salin key filter. We took circuit elements from mutable instruments. Emily, I don't know, Gillette uses a 3.3 volt microcontroller with a couple analog ins. Well, the RP2040 has 4 analogs in, and it's a 3.3 volt microcontroller, and Emily Gillette used PWM with a filter, with a low pass filter, I think low pass filter, Emily used the Salin key in order to create a module. And so we boiled that all down into this design. And we have this design, and then we have a chord VCO design, and the chord VCO design just has one less switch and one more knob. And so these 2 boards are a voltage-controlled oscillator and a voltage-controlled chord oscillator, but they can be more. They can do so much more. So if we find more digital projects that use an RP2040 in order to make something digital, we can roll that into everything else. Well, that only leaves the code behind. The code that Hajiwo provided was a mess. It came from probably a bunch of different projects. This Hajiwo has been building synthesizer modules for cheap for a long time, and he builds them often. We pulled the brakes on that a little bit, took a look at the code and went, I could clean this up. And so I cleaned it up a lot, and it was a big investment of time. I need to do a little bit more with that code. Once I'm done, I can get Julian and Dave back in here. In the meantime, in order to make my synthesizer actually start making some cool waves, I've decided to build something with my hands. Exhibit A. I've done this because the coding streams, everyone ran when we did the coding streams. I know some of you are hardcore coders. You like looking at the code on the screen and all that stuff. You know, in the past, I've had some pretty fervent coders helping me out with projects. When we do more Burn the Subs, we're going to be doing a lot more code. But everyone ran, so I want to have a little bit more appeal on this stream, so I'm going to build something with my hands. And in furthering some of the projects that we're working on, I need a voltage controlled filter. I don't have any filters on my synthesizer. There's one analog one that's associated with the VCOs that are sitting up above on the unpopulated one, unpopulated synthesizer, but those analog circuits are really messing with me, and I'm starting to get very mad at them. So I need way more voltage controlled filters. I need more weird filters. It's very important. And then I can start to look at what I've got, figure out if I need a sequencer, and try to actually put stuff together that will make cool sounds that I can use as intros. And then I don't need to mute the music anymore, because nobody will have ever made those musics. Yeah, I'm happy to actually like use my hands, because I'm very good at soldering. It's not exactly, it's getting to be a little bit obsolete of a skill, but I'm very good at doing that part of this whole thing. You know, you do a little bit of everything in this hobby, but I have pretty good skills with the soldering iron. So anyway, where are we with this thing? Well, we've started to populate the board. We've got our singular op amp that's running everything. We've got a diode ladder, which is supposed to be the filtering element. You're using a diode as sort of a makeshift voltage-controlled resistor, because voltage-controlled resistors aren't exactly a thing. You could probably buy a chip that does that, but in the end, using diodes is much cheaper, and the microcurrent leakage properties of diodes are fairly useful in making a filter. It's not going to be like the most clinical, clean, super duper nice filter. It's going to have all of the hallmarks of me soldering something together. It's going to be dirty and gross and kind of a little raw. I'm happy for that, though. I think that'll be a good thing. So we started with the schematic, and we're just following Hajiwo's schematic to the T, depending on what we're able to source, and just putting it all together, putting it all onto this board. And the things that I've done, I have marked off in red so that we know what's been done. And we left off somewhere in here. I need to add these 6.8 kilo ohm resistors to either the diode ladder or to the op amp, and then use wires to go to the diode ladder. I think that's what I'm going to do. So we need these two 6.8 kilo ohm resistors. So let's find out where they're going. Oh yeah, that's right. And I put the schematic up on here just to take up more space. Actually, what we can do, I can take this and hit Alt. You guys don't need to see the palette. There we go. Now it's a mystery what program I'm using. Dun dun dun. All right, so my design has this op amp just hanging out, and this one is the output. So the output goes over to the connector over there. I was wondering if I wanted to move this over by one and make room for other stuff. I need a 6.8K resistor, and that needs to go directly into the plus and minus, which are these two right here. This one is output. This one is, I need a better pointing device. Let's use a knife. I'll use, instead of using my finger, I'll use the knife to point at stuff. Ah, ooh, ah. Okay, so we have the output here. We have our 100 kilo ohm feedback resistor. That's the 1K on the way, wait. Oh, 102. Okay, 1K. That didn't look like a zero. 102, the one that I previously accidentally cut a little piece off of. And then we have our 4.7 oof, and then that goes into our audio connector. Other side of the audio connector goes to ground. We'll do the grounds and the powers last, because the grounds and the powers can jump around. They can move everywhere because they are supplies. Whereas we want to keep our circuit signal paths as succinct as possible. Hajiwo does all his stuff with through-hole, and his through-hole designs are gorgeous. I don't understand how he does it without using, he doesn't use a single wire. In one of the designs that I saw, he didn't use any wire. He was able to lay everything out through hole just by putting it through. It's ridiculous. We can't compete with that. We can't compete with it. I have a panic attack. We can't compete with Hajiwo. He's too good. But what we did do is we used surface mount parts. I actually realized yesterday, I was sitting on the toilet and I was going, wait a second, I actually do have through-hole TL072s. We could have put a through-hole part right here, and it would have been just the same for the circuit. It would have taken up this entire box here, but the layout in the end probably would have been a little bit better for it. Instead, what we did is we put down a piece of Kapton tape in order to cover over and insulate from these vias, a dollop of super glue, and we placed the surface mount part directly down on our board. This is what I like to call live bugging. I don't know if it probably has a term now because everybody's already done everything, but nobody was doing this when I started it. But anyway, from there we use wire wrapping wire, and I can just make all of my circuit elements. And while it does look like an absolute cluster nonsense F of stuff, I no longer say that word because I said it in one video, and then an advertiser told me, you know, stop all your profanity. No, it's watch your profanity. No, they said we loved the video, but we really didn't like the curse. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, fine. Why am I not able to curse? Anyway. Yeah, 4.8 in New Jersey. Yep. Yeah, that was shaky as frig. Okay, so these are the elements of the input input operational amplifier. That's so that we can get control voltages in, and it can affect how the filter is operating. But we don't need to worry about that at the moment. What we're working on is this output one right here, and I need to add a resistor on both lines. So I might as well just put boop boop the two 6.8s right here, and then I've got a little bit of space over here. Although I'm gonna need at some place, well, I guess right here is where we can put the other transistors. Hopefully we can fit all three of them in because there's not a lot of space here. We have our diode ladder over here. It's just a ton of diodes. Those are all hooked up to one another. All right, so I'm going to start out with some 6.8 kilo ohm resistors. Let us find them. I guess I don't need caps anymore. I can put those there. What are you guys? You guys are 6.8 should be in here. 6.8. Oh, thank goodness I have them. It's kind of a crapshoot whether or not I have the parts because, oh, where'd my tweezers go? They're right here. Because we've been building so many synthesizer modules, all of these common values have started to get depleted in my collections. And, you know, don't do this with your resistors. Don't do this. Buy one of the sample books. The sample book binders that they sell. Those store things so much better. It's just the one I got was before everybody discovered about those binders. And so I got one that was just completely disorganized. It was a nightmare, and some of the values weren't there. Some values were shoved into the wrong location. It was a disaster. So I totally reorganized it. I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have kept it in the binder because the binder is much smaller than all of those things, all those containers. At some point, I'll go through all those resistors and just throw everything out and then buy a new binder. Because that's the economy of scale. Guess that's as good as I could get that one. Let's do the other one while we're here. Although my mouse is moving into weird places as I move. All right, get this one and then do my signature move, and I'll show you guys it. Woo! I gotta use the mouse in order to move the scene. And now I'm flipped over. Haha! I am the wiener. All right, you just scooch this puppy over here and just get a little bit of solder on it. I have to make sure that I don't melt the power plug any more than I already have. All right, that'll just hold it for now. I'll come in on the other side with the wire from the diode ladder. Okay, let's see. Let's get these two in there. Come on, buddy. This is a little bit slow, but the more I take my time on this, the more better it's going to be. I don't think I've got it in me to do a game stream tomorrow. There's too many people in the house. I would love to do a little bit of BeamNG though, or what was that other one called? The one where you build the car, and I could absolutely embarrass Rabaz by making a cooler car than he made. He tried to do a DeLorean and he couldn't quite find the right parts. That looks soldered to you? It doesn't look soldered to me. It looks cold welded. I guess it's soldered. The problem with this plated through holes is that gravity is going to pull the solder downwards, and so you get a bunch of bubbles on the other side. Look at all these bubbles. Bubbles and bubbles and bubbles. Okay, so we can just take two wires now and we can attach our resistor ladder. Need to make sure we get our positive and negative correct though. Because one side of this ladder, they're both connected to 12 volts. But one side goes to one transistor and the other side goes to another. There's some kind of like a biased voltage divider thing going on here with the 2.2, with signal coming in, and then you have 2.2 and 2.2, and then you have some kind of a bias voltage with the 210Ks. So this would be 6 volts. And then you have a capacitor here too. What is that doing? Something with resonance. Something with resonance. Because that's the resonance control right here, leading to ground on the output. Weird. Weird stuff. And I wish I could explain it to you guys, but I don't even understand it. So one side goes to one side of the 6.68 off. The other goes to the other. All right, so 2 wires. What wire color? I'm going to use blue. Might as well. All right, so get a couple lengths of blue wire here. That's going to be way too long, but we'll continue to use the scrap everywhere else. One, get this one too. I'm going to tin these just so they're easier to work with. Only problem is it's hard to see this stuff. I got to like lean down into it. You guys see it as well as I do. Wait, I just heard an airplane go by. I thought they grounded all the planes for a little bit because of the earthquake. It's like a local puddle jumper or something. Or it's an incoming flight. It's more likely. Yeah, airports are like, holy shit, the ground is shaking. We're gonna take a minute here and figure out that everything's okay. What's up, Pyro? How's it going? You're here early. The we had a, not big, but we had an earthquake. Big for the Northeast. We don't get earthquakes here. The only time I've only been in an earthquake in the Northeast twice in my entire life. And so we had the second one in my entire life today. Yeah, so chaos. It's not really chaos though. Everybody's kind of just like, what happened? So it's diode. Wait, hold on. Let's go down here. Yeah, it's going to be capacitor, 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 and then our wire goes here into D. So I'll solder this one down here like that, and then I'll thread it through the via that's right next to it. I'll have to do that on the other side, but it's a little cramped over there. Oh yeah, so we had a huge nor'easter that dropped an entire month's worth of rain, almost 20 inches of rain on our area in the past 3 days. We had we have a solar eclipse and we've had an earthquake. You think the magnetic poles are going to flip during the eclipse? It's getting spicy here in the Northeast. I don't really have plans. We're taking the dog to the vet in the morning, and then in the afternoon, I'm probably just going to be here. So I'll just get my welding goggles and see what's up. See what's up. Solar eclipse will be here. I'll be like, "What's good, man? How you doing? Can I get in there? Nope. Here? Nope. I guess I gotta go in here. But this way, no, that one's ground. I haven't really, have I wired ground to anything? I don't think I have. So let's leave that one open. Let's go here, I guess. Nope, that's not working out. Yeah, what's going on? Well, the Taiwan earthquake is probably what set the stage for what we just experienced. That one was a crazy fucking earthquake. That one was the main star of the show. We're just like an aftershock of that, I bet. It just kind of jiggled the tectonics enough to trigger ours. That's the thing, is like the first place that I heard about the earthquake on Reddit, because, you know, the ground shook, everything went crazy, and in the past, when something like mad happened in events, I would look on Reddit and there would immediately be people like being like, "I'm from there, this happened." Instead, because I guess AP News reporting and not censorship, but just like the change of how Reddit handles new stuff and the algorithms and stuff, the first thing that I saw, the first thread that I saw was from the conspiracy nuts. I have no idea what they're going to conspiracy about. It'll probably be something extremely stupid, but crust theory is less than 100 years old? Huh. Oh yeah, that's right, like in the 60s. Like, it's crazy. They would be like, Timmy's like, "Did you know all the continents kind of like fit together? It looks like a big puzzle." And they're like, "Yeah, Timmy, whatever, have another cigarette." It's when Biden ordered to have Easter Sunday fall on Trans Acceptance Day, when he ordained that, when he from on high said, "We will have the holiday this day, bucko," and then he ate a bunch of ice cream, he was doing that intentionally. And so he decided that we would have an earthquake. Just the smartest and the best and the bravest that we've got. This is fighting me. I don't know why it's fighting me. Please flow over, solder. Please. You took the lead out of the drinking water. It's a mind control scheme. My God-given right to die in debt. I guess this is good enough. It is very clear that we are connecting to the resistor ladder, or the diode ladder, there. I guess I'll run the other one as an homage to the first one, in the same pattern. Let's give that a little bend, and then I'll punch it through this hole right here. We do have a lot of work to do on this. I mean, we got pretty far with it, but there's just more stuff to do. This was not an easy circuit. I looked at it and I'm like, I could build that in like a couple streams, couldn't I? And maybe I could. Maybe I could. I guess the main thing is that I've got all the parts for it. That's the important part. Oh, okay. That means, no, let's keep the soldering iron in my right hand, even though I'm going over the power plug for this. Over the power plug, shove this thing down here, And this one I know that I can heat up from right here. But as soon as I solder this wire, the jacket becomes soup. So holding it with tweezers is not really a great way. It's a good way to control where the wire is for sure, but it's not a great thing for the jacket. You can see how the jacket's kind of burning its way out. But I guess that's connected. Good enough. I'm here for the end of the world. Did I make it? No, everything's over already. Yeah, we're all in purgatory. That's what these past fucking, well, umpteen number of years have felt like. What's good, Mahalo? How you doing? Sloppy solder. I'm going to leave it, though. I'm going to leave it. So these need to go where? These need to go to these two resistors, which are these two holes here. So I'm just going to thread those in. I could go up and around, but maybe I'd be... Well, are the transistors going to be there? I don't know. Oh, yeah, I need to make sure the right one goes to the right place. Let me get them in first, and we'll just see what the wire run looks like. Because apparently that's the hardest part. I'm having trouble. Sunny lull in between storms. Yeah, we had that big nor'easter, then we had an earthquake. Then we're having a solar eclipse. Is Yellowstone blowing up? Maybe that's what's happening next. Yellowstone's going to blow up. And then, I don't know. Maybe the McRib comes back. If that's what it takes. Actually, I had a McRib the recent time that it came back, and it ain't worth it. I'm never having one again. I loved them when I was a kid. Maybe it was that kid's sweet tooth thing that you get. But it was nasty. That barbecue sauce is not tangy, it's nasty. Tangy nasty. Oh yeah, there's a transistor there. Let's go this way. Let's go on this. And then I'll run that like that. I can pull this up a little bit over here. You get them every time. It's too sweet. I don't understand. If they put like a good barbecue sauce on it, it would be fine. But they have to have this like cheap ass, terrible tasting barbecue sauce. I need this area just in case I need more transistors. I'm definitely going to need all of these areas actually, because I'm going to need more transistors on this board. You're part of the problem. If only I could have discipline. This one is way too long. I don't know why I ran this so long. Did I mean for it to like slink around everybody? It's weird. That's a horribly long wire there. Usurped by the bad TV show. I heard the news anchors talking about loving that show, but I think the show was part of like that news channels like lineup. So they were it was just an advertisement, basically. Surreptitious. They've been doing that a lot lately. Surreptitiously advertising products that are the parent company's ownership on like the news. It's ridiculous. It's utterly scummy. I guess any way to get boomers to get out their wallets. So yeah, here's our two connections. Let's see, which one is going to which though? The one that goes to the output is the one that goes to minus, and that one connects to the one that's connected to the transistor. I don't know which one that is yet, actually. We haven't connected anything down here. So actually, we can run either one to either one, as long as we're happy with the connection. So we'll do that. This pink wire is really messing me up. I'm gonna shorten it. Sorry, violet. That's actually violet. Yeah, I need to shorten this. This is our -12 connection to a bunch of the rest of the circuit. It's actually, it connects to everything that connects to -12, but I'm going to shortenate it so that our board is a little bit less busy. Although, if I put it up towards the edge, that means that it could potentially snag on other modules and stuff as you put it in and out. I don't know, should I keep this like short here? I think this area here is going to be kind of important though. Let's do it as the crow. Let's do it along the outside of the board just for now, just to see what'll happen. Yeah, this one actually. let that sink to the other side. So it's less of a what do you call it? Speed bump. There we go. Jeez. Come on. Give me this wire. I keep trying to grip it and I miss. There, now there's enough that I can get my fingies on it. There's not a lot of view of what I'm doing today. It's a little bit blocked. All right, so I'm coming around like that, and then I will round the bend and go over to here. You know, leave enough room. We can always anchor these wires down, and I can either use clear, what is it? Ultraviolet epoxy, which is just activated by light, and it's clean. It doesn't have horrible scents, and if you need to remove it, it just pops off. There's a circle of graphite on my finger. I have a little circle of graphite on my finger from working on that pinion, the RC car stuff. Did everyone on the East Coast survive? Do we have any casualties? We got shook again. I don't think if I had built a house of cards on a table, I don't even think that would have fallen over. Oh, now I can't talk about that without Kevin Spacey coming into the conversation. Press F to knock over the house of cards. Yeah, I don't even think it would have knocked over something like that, because I mean, they're really just, you couldn't really feel it, you could hear it. No, you could feel it a little bit. Like I said, it was like somebody was carrying, like put a milling machine on a cart, something very, very, very heavy on like a cart, and was wheeling it by. The sky's falling, baby. Drop that ass for it cracks. The sky's falling, baby. Drop that ass for it cracks. That's a Gorillaz song from before the pandemic. Yeah, I think it was just before the pandemic. No, the one that got the one that got stuck in my head and I tweeted it was I feel the earth move under my feet. Is that Aretha Franklin? I think it is. I feel the sky tumbling down. Those are all the wrong notes. I'd need to rehearse that a little bit more if I was going to actually try to sing it. All right, so the creepy character threat short, that one was a little crazy. I don't think I watched it fully through. I watched like the first season of House of Cards, and then I kind of dropped off on it, and then all those allegations came out, and I was like, what? Like, holy shit. That was one of the funny thing is that series, the whole reason that series came about was because of algorithms. Netflix was looking at demographics and saw that people who like Kevin Spacey also like political thrillers. So they made a political thriller with Kevin Spacey, and it did gangbusters. So I guess we can connect the blue wires to whichever. It doesn't matter, because we will sort that out when we build the rest of the circuit, which will happen over there. But over here, we just connect it to these two lines right there. I probably should go one hole down in order to have a bit more line on that, but we're going to try to save a little bit of space, see what we can get away with. Problem is, I can't strip these wires very easily. I need a pair of precision tweezers that can heat up. Because like all the wire wrapping stuff in the world does not save me from having to get that little bit of jacket off of the end of this thing. And the only way that I can do it right now is to just use the soldering iron to burn it off. So I can burn it off, and then I can grab it with the tweezers and pick off the remainder of the scorched plastic. Like that. And that leaves just a little bit. No, it doesn't. Should leave just a little bit of the wire poking out. I mean, like if I made something, I could make something with like a really pointy, or like a V on the tip, and I'd be able to put that down onto the wire and then pluck it out, and it would remove the end of the wire. I guess that's kind of what the Radio Shack one does. The Radio Shack wire wrapping tool comes with its own wire wrap stripper. This is the famous Radio Shack. I ordered this on Amazon, and it was not ordered before Radio Shack died. Radio Shack was fully dead, and I order a wire wrap tool off of eBay, and I get one that's still in the Radio Shack packaging. I should have kept it in the packaging. I use the thing, but I need something like this. But with a heating element on the other end, right? Instead of all of this support stuff, I want a heating element so that I can get this onto the wire. I can maneuver it over here, and I can just pluck out that wire in essentially the same way that my hot wire stripper works. Because this I can't really maneuver into these areas. It's a little too clumsy. But if I had it on like the end of a pen and it was a nice thin thing, I could just go doot, doot, and then pluck it off without putting any force on the tool. One day we will figure that one out. Of course, I don't want a tool that I need to plug in. Actually, it'd be kind of cool if I took... How much a replacement soldering iron? Well, actually, you know what? I could probably make it into an old tip, an old iron tip. No, but then I got to swap it out. Then I have to swap it out or get the other soldering iron controller over here. I have another one. Wexo bought me the more recent one. I don't know why. Because the old one that I had, the reason that I spent $350 on the fucking Pace ADS 200 soldering station is that this thing is going to outlast me. This thing will work longer than I will. I'm limited by the technology of my time. Go back over to this, and let's do that other one. That's the wrong... There we go. Why are you on the wrong scene? Everyone is reeling after the earthquake. It was an insane ordeal. It was nothing. It was nothing. Everybody was like, what? And then now everybody's like, wait, oh, there was an earthquake. Last time we actually evacuated the building we were in. I don't even know if that's happening with this one. What magnitude was that previous one? I guess I only know if I look at the Discord, because they dug up my old Hackaday article about it. I did a roundup of seismology related projects. Please rub metal shavings into my forehead. What was that machining video recently where he was talking about the little tiny hot daggers of death from his chips, and then he flips to a clip of his Birkenstocks and his bare feet in his Birkenstocks, and he's got all these metal shavings in them, and he's wiggling his toes. Woo! That was one that Hairbrain linked in the Discord. I don't think that's really soldering, but that's okay. All right, where's the other one? The other one's like falling out. Yeah, there it is. You go back. Get back in your hole. Yeah, that guy. I had never seen one of his videos before, and he's got a good... That guy makes a good video. He also involved inheritance machining in his video, which is hilarious. I was like, wait, box of shame? What are we... I shouldn't spoil. Not everybody's seen that video. All right, let's get that soldered. Yeah, I've never seen his content. I'm going to peruse the channel a little bit. I can't watch too many makers. And I guess the machining videos are in part that. I like to watch the machining videos because I don't know a lot about machining, and I have a milling machine. I use it fairly amateurishly, and every now and then we do a milling stream. At one point, we will break it down to its bones and rebuild it, because I bought it and I barely got the grease off of it when I started using it, and I've been using it for several years now, and it's at that point where we need to just get out all the Brillo pads and de-rust it and get new grease in there and just true it up. I need to actually adjust it and make sure that it's still functioning properly, because the grease that they put on it it's like Cosmoline. It's like an assembly grease that's designed for the longevity of the part in storage, not for the actual use. Feels like skits. Well, what I love is his celebration of the the absurdity and the mistakes. YouTube is fairly anti-mistake, it seems. Inheritance machining also celebrates mistakes because they happen. I mean, people do dumb stuff. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. That's why I do this stream. That's one of the main sort of influences in this stream, is that I don't want you guys to think that everything goes together perfectly immediately. And sometimes you have to embrace mega jank. Back to the ether. All right. Have fun. Don't go anywhere I wouldn't. There's some weird shit out there that'll change you. It'll curdle your milk. Okay, so we have the area where I formerly had a switch. We have a couple little spots like around here. Yeah, that emote exists for a reason. It's Uo Slab. I appreciate you showing the whole process. The whole process, I've already bitched about this. The whole process is different now. I'm sitting here doing this. I don't have to do this. I can design a circuit board in 20 minutes and have this on order, and then it'll come in, and then I don't have to debate on where I'd put all these parts, and they'd all have perfect traces. Anyway, trying to do this right. Do you still have the board with subnames? Oh, do I still have the old ones? Yes. Yes, and in fact, oh God, please don't look at my desk. Here's where they are. I'm just gonna cover everything with my hand. There's a bunch of parts. There's a bunch of mess everywhere. Don't look at anything else, but the boards are a backdrop for my computer. So there's my computer. There's my computer. And so I've got the board sitting behind it. And I thought that was a really cool idea. It's just that the monitors cover everything, so I don't actually get to see the boards with all the names on it. I really should put the boards with the names on it at a 90-degree angle to the desk. Yeah, there's also lights on those too, and I haven't gotten around to fixing those lights. Yeah, it's true. I can build this up today, but the problem is I built this up today, and I've barely gotten 2 wires soldered in it since we started. An hour ago. How's it going, Uwo? I need to collab. We need to figure out something we can do. The synthesizer's been taking up all of my mental space right now, though, and eventually we will get to doing a burn the subs, which is going to take a lot of putting together of disparaging pieces of code and retooling how my lab works, insofar as using a Raspberry Pi that's sitting in my rack over there with Node-RED, in order to get a quick and easy way to have names come in, scrub them clean of all the horrible stuff, and then throw that in onto the board. Electronics nerd with ADHD, 1 hour and 2 wires. I'm medicated, all right? Yeah, it's just finding what the collab would be. Maybe I'd drive over to Skibbity, Ohio. Oh, did you feel that earthquake, by the way? Speaking of which, I was like, the neurons in my brain were like, Uwo's in Ohio. The Northeast had an earthquake, and then it was like, ding! Did you feel any of that in Ohio yet? You dodged? How'd you dodge? What'd you jump? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? What, like, huh? Whoa! Whoo! Like, I can't conceptualize that. I was on the toilet. I was taking a shit when it hit. And apparently I wasn't the only one. There were 3 of us in the Discord who had been taking a shit during this earthquake, so we now have a brotherhood. If you jump really high. Yeah, you were in some kind of a kite suit jumping off of the Eiffel Tower. I know what you're up to over on your channel. You were doing something that put your life in danger. Sure as hell I'm not doing shit like that. Not that I'm afraid to, it's just every time Electro Boom shocks himself, it's so gloriously fake. Okay, so we got 2 wires in, and I need to mark them. And then we got this one all the way over to here, this one to here. Okay. It's fake, but it is funny. You know, undoubtedly, but I had to make a decision. What kind of content do I want to do? Well, the other part of it is that I'm wearing an insulin pump. I have these pods on me, so anything involving high voltage and Tesla coils and shocking myself, off the table. No way. Not a chance. No, I'm trying to get my two buddies in here. The more synthesizer stuff I can do, the more I can get Julian and Dave in here with all of their equipment. And if I do that, that means I'll be forced to clean up, which is something that I need to do. But if I can get them in here, we can do our thing, and they can make some cool music, and they have a couple things still for me to fix. I still have to reverse engineer Dave's VCO module, but in order to get them in here, I've built this VCO that works now. I just need to finish up the code, and then I'm building for me a voltage controlled filter because I want to make cool sounds to start off the stream that don't have a copyright. What is MFOS? Mufasa? Ooh. Mufasa. I need a 4.7 oof cap. 4.7. Let's see. Do I have the capacitors out? I do not think I do. I do not. All right. Don't do this with your resistors. This is a very bad idea. I did this because I bought one of those binders that has all the resistors in it, and those are super cool. But the one that I bought was an early version of them that everything was completely disorganized. So we probably should have been working in 0603 because it's a lot easier. But you get this binder, and it's filled with the cut tapes of all the different values. This is a great way to organize. You just need a labeler because otherwise it's not really gonna. Okay, music from outer space. I've heard of it. I just didn't know the acronym. Only heard of it though. I have no idea. The one that Julian got, he got a Norns, and it was pretty cool. But I don't know if I could afford to build another Norns. He sold his. He's constantly buying and selling his equipment. I had a whole design for a 3D printed enclosure for the Norns that was going to look really, really, really cool. And then he goes and fucking sells it within owning it for like a week. But like the Norns, I was able to do an entire intro melody on that thing. I think we got to get, oh no, 0.04, no, we want 4.7 oof. Oh, we had to go to this thing for that. All of my organization in the bins, and yet these are still. It was pretty neato. It was 475, wasn't it? 4.7, 475. 475. So we're having a chill Friday. We're having a chill building Friday where we put together the rest of this schematic, and I get to test it. I didn't want to put code up on screen again because my viewers tank. How does Michael Reeves get 20,000 viewers and he's sitting there putting code together? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. I need those people. I need those people watching here. Actually, what I need to do is accidentally blow up another capacitor because that was my only viral clip. I got 70,000 views. Of me going, the capacitor going, and me going, fuck! I was fighting cardboard for so long. They're watching for YouTube, man. Yeah, that's true. He could do anything he wants, and they would tune into him. Yes, that's true, and he does, I guess. I don't know if I've seen him stream at all lately, but he's in that category of people that can make one video a year and make enough money to live. Pretty crazy stuff. I've been doing this for how many years? Since 2016. Actually, before that. I think I've been partnered since, I don't know how many years. Doing my thing. Yeah, well, no, that's not true. Because there's, I mean, yes, coding is difficult and you get a different audience for it. But some of our regular raters are fairly popular coding streams. Soldering is one of them. He's rated me a couple times, and he has like 400 people watching him code. He's making a game, so I guess that makes it a little bit more exciting, but still, those are good numbers. And you can't even blame the US versus Euro crowd, because he's one of those Euro troglodytes. It's one of those European weirdos. Gross. I'm glad that nobody European watches my stream. I'm waiting for them to say something. I'm pretty much just intentionally goading them into outing themselves as being Euros. And it's not happening because nobody's around. Nobody is here to... First he insulted Europe, and no one was around. Is that even working? What's going on here? The problem is I went a little too far into that. I don't like these circular pads. I like my square pad boards, but this is just what we had. This is a good size for modular stuff. Gaming Crossover does a lot. Pirate Software, that's the one that I saw with a ton of people the other day. Or no, Pirate Software had like the most subs like on Twitch or something like that, or viewers, or it was like a charity thing, right? I know you guys are here. I'm trying to goad you into chatting. You've played directly into my hand. Haha, I am the wiener. I've played you for a fool. Where is this going? 4.7 into our resonance potentiometer. So this one pretty much dies right here. Biggest hype train. Yeah, I think that was it. That sounds about right. All right, what are we doing? Where are we? I've made a 4.7. Okay, mark it off. And then we need to connect that to... I haven't decided whether or not I want all the pots to go to a JST plug. I might. It's one of the biggest streamers right now, but it's not because of the programming, it's because of the gaming industry stuff. I see. Yeah, look, I don't know. There's something that I'm not doing, and maybe part of it is playing the game a little bit and doing something like that I detest in order to get more people in here. Maybe. We're co-streaming to YouTube. I've at least cracked that egg. Now I don't have an egg. It's cracked. Okay, YouTube is like dead. How many viewers do we have on YouTube? Let's check. Five. Actually, 5 is pretty goddamn good. It's been hovering at 1 for a while, and I've been uploading daily YouTube videos that get several views. And just by virtue of the fact that it's daily, I've already pissed off a couple people by showing up on the thing quite a bit. Hey, when did Pyro sub? When was that? 34 minutes ago. Thank you for the 62 months. Holy crap. With a love peaked emote. What does that one look like? I'm gonna scroll up. I don't know. I don't see it. Oh well, it's in there somewhere. Multitasking. Half brain is sleeping, half brain is listening, half brain is watching. No, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's about right. Madame is one of the 5, or all the 5. Maybe he's got 5 machines open right now. We need to do this stuff. So input goes directly to attenuation. I feel like I need to bring pin headers into this at this point. I don't think we have much of a choice. So the way this thing goes on, we have our front panel, diode, so our diode ladder filter, and then this, oh goody. Shit. Well, looks like it could have happened to anybody, but it happened to me. Maybe I'm gonna move this hole over, just like move the knob over and just make it in a weird, awkward place. Might do that. What are the? You mean the Cenobites? Don't try to pass a Cenobite joke over my head. I watched all of the Hellraiser movies almost in one sitting. I wanted to die. The first 3 are okay. First one is brilliant. First 3 are okay. You get into the other ones, and by maybe the 3rd or 5th one, they start becoming detective movie scripts where they just crossed a bunch of stuff out and wrote Cenobite in the margin. They're horrible. Anyway, yeah, I've got space issues. The capacitors that we put in are colliding with the knob. How do we fix that? Well, there's a couple ways to do it. One of them would be to unearth my entire diode ladder and move it over one hole. I don't like that though. I mean, it would mean that the two wires that come out from this would have to be on the same side, which would kind of, I don't know, make that a little bit cleaner. But at the same time, like, if I move those over one hole, is that enough? It might be enough. But that's an incredibly large amount of soldering. First it's bachelor party, then family. So this weekend I'm just gonna lie in bed and do nothing. I don't know about that whole introvert battery theory. You know, that whole Myers-Briggs thing, it's like horoscopes for business people. It's horoscopes for, by the way, there's my Discord. It's horoscopes for business people, and depending on how you feel at the time, you can swing from one personality type to the polar opposite. People don't work like that. These people were not trained as psychologists when they wrote the Myers-Briggs test. That's just not how people work. It is relatable because, oh yeah, I totally feel like that sometimes, where I'm all socialed out. Or you're like, oh, I need to go out and be social. I'll feel better after that. But that has nothing to do with charging an internal battery, a psychological battery of any kind. That has nothing to do with that. It just sounds good. That's what Myers-Briggs is. It's stuff that sounds good. You read your horoscope and it goes, avoid salad. And you're like, okay, yeah, I had a bad salad once. So I'll avoid salad. I just hate people. Well, you're in luck. You're now an IRZL, and now you can only hang out on those subreddits where those IRZ bullshit people talk to each other and end up in a positive feedback loop that makes them into horrible assholes on the outset of the whole thing. It's yeah, I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I had somebody go, "Oh, you're an INTP. That's so fascinating. I want to study how your brain works." I'm like, I hate this test, and I don't think it represents anybody at all. Like, I fucking hate it, and I hate you. Okay, so I've got a couple options here. The easiest would be for me to just move this hole over by a couple millimeters and call it a day, and then I would have this weird boop boop. I'm only building one of these, so that's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to undo all of this soldering. I could probably pull this off with hot air and just pluck everything away and then rebuild the whole thing, but we spent a significant amount of stream doing that, so I'm going, let me go close Fusion on the other screen. One time at Lollapalooza, a guy in a bucket hat stood in front of me, and I went from being an extrovert to hating all of humanity. Steampunk will do that to a motherfucker. All right, hold on. Go over to this. Oh, it's already closed. I think the computer must have restarted or something. So I can just start up Fusion over here. I think that's INTJ. Jeez. It's not just weird people though, Pyro. It's not. It's all HR departments, all of the onboarding people are tragically hooked up to that whole community. And they go, ooh, we need to find out what everybody's personality type is so that we can get them to work together. I did this when I started at Booz Allen Hamilton so many years ago. They did one of those tests, and I got like INFJ or P or whatever the fuck. And it's just because I wanted to get the fuck out of there. I hated everybody in the room. And they were going, oh, we're overly cheery and we're HR people. Hello, welcome to our thing. Let's find out who you are. And so why weren't you able to work with them? Oh, it's because they were an INFJ. And I'm like, I don't want to be here. I'm an engineer. You guys are consultants. They hired engineers for this consulting job because the consulting job decided that they needed a way to very rapidly figure out what these IEDs were and figure out how to sort of tie all the designs together in order to figure out who's designing them. And so that was where myself and a whole team came in to the fray. We were not consultants in the traditional sense where you go into a business and you tell them how to do things. Instead, we were sort of more like, well, this is what we see on an engineering level. But that meant onboarding to the big company. Oh, don't do this to me. This is going to tank the camera. Actually, I think it might be something about The internet's not quite right on this computer. I upgraded all of my internet. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see it because for some reason, Fusion does not remember how you have the Windows set up. There you go. Point is, updating, and it's at, look at how fast that's moving. Look at how fast. Look at, there it goes. Okay. God. All right, well, anyway, the front panel's easy to work on. So I have made a folder for this, haven't I? I have not made a folder for this. This is going to be in the RP2040 folder because Hajiwo is kind of a similar design for a lot of his panels. And then 6U diode filter. And then we make a quick alteration to the... Cannot open. Well, okay. What do I just put like a GIF of like the monkey with the symbols? That one's way too fast, though, to be honest. I'm not going to use that. Oh my god, this is like hell. This is hell. Alright, enough of that. I'm waiting for this thing to update now, so I guess we can go back to a little bit of soldering and planning out where a circuit's going to be, because I'm going to keep things the way they are. The only thing we have to watch out for now is that the transistors don't collide with any of the stuff on the underside of the panel. I didn't think this through. I should have probably made the whole thing on the other side of the board. That would have been still hard for it to kill itself. It'd be hard for me to brush up against it, kill it, and then it would... Actually, you know what? We could transfer this to the other side of the board. That shouldn't be too hard to do. Let's try it. I'm going to get hot air on this thing, and all the caps are going to drop out. And then we can pluck all the diodes away, and then we can just rebuild this thing as fast as possible on the opposite side of the board. Not the funnest thing in the world, but we got to do it. So let's get hot air over here, as if I don't have any space to work over here. I need to do like a big cleanup. Let me get things out of the way. I have no choice. Our other transistors on the other side of the board, and I guess when I install the other transistors, we need to watch out that it doesn't collide with stuff. I don't have this problem usually because I don't work in through-hole. I work in surface mount, and everything is nice. Everything is maximally compact when you work with surface mount. All right, that gives me room for hot air. All right, here we go. Get out the hot air gun. The same one that Louis Rossmann uses, and if you thought that was my choice, you would be wrong, because I did not choose this hot air station. This hot air station chose me. I went to Radio Shack, and this thing just jumped right into my arms. Its little hot air gun waggling around, and I said, you know what? This is great. No, actually, Chat bought this for me because they were going to get me a 3D printer, but instead they pivoted the money over to stuff that would anger me. And stuff that would anger me was, I would always say, you don't need a hot air station to get what you need done. And then they bought one for me. And in the same vein, they also bought me a smoke-sucking fan, which is just one of these AC brushless motor fans hooked up to a barely functional open cell carbon filter. It does almost nothing. It's not even worth having. It doesn't really filter the air as much as you'd hope it would. Air just passes right through it. With almost no contact to the carbon. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of hot air here, and what that means is that how's this doing? I'm going to end up closing Fusion as soon as it's done. So what that's going to mean is we're going to get this thing just slightly warmer as we go. And then we'll finally attack the parts and things should drop away. Those two wires are completely toast. We need to just get them out of here for now. Those would melt. Since they're wire wrap wire, the jacket on them is a little bit less. A little bit less heat tolerant. Of course, as is before, I'm having trouble getting heat into these things. Come on, buddy. It's possible that surface tension can hold on to the capacitors and they won't drop off in the way that I want them to, but we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Oh yeah, and then so we had a boat crash into a bridge, completely destroying it. This is all the things that have been happening in the Northeast. So we had a bridge get completely fucked. We had a nor'easter. We have an eclipse. We had an earthquake. What was the other one? Was there another one? I think that's everything. Yeah, imagine if your whole job was just to, like, basically do party games for business people. I only know one party game, and I don't know, it's one of the more fun ones to play, but if you're ever at a party, what you do is you get everybody there, you get them together, and you split them into the A team and the B team, and the B team are the winners. All right, let's get this out. Can the 1K? No, that's got to move. Everything here has got to go. So we'll heat up the substrate a little bit and let the heat kind of soak in. Same thing if you're cooking or if you're smoking something, or if you're making soup at a sink. Ugh. I don't know if you guys caught Uo's lab doing all that stuff. He's been doing a lot of fairly cursed cooking. And yet I'm the one who gets grief when I post my Swedish meatballs to the food section. I get nothing but flack from you assholes. Uo's out here making turlet minestrone. And they love him. I'm just going to drop these down to the floor here while I've got all the heat. Oh, the flux is making my tweezers sticky. Okay, this is not funny anymore. Get off! What the? Drop down, you little bastard. These are covered in flux, and flux is tacky, so they'll hold on to stuff. That said, this thing did go quietly into the night pretty easily. It flowed over very quickly. We definitely want to reuse these. Although you can damage silicon with heat, I don't think these diodes have... These diodes are pretty tolerant of heat. They should be okay. The resistors are really what you can abuse. It's the ICs. It's when you get into the more complicated structures. That's when things get a little bit squirrely with the hot air. This is also, in part, burning my finger, because my finger is where those capacitors are deflecting the air. So many diodes have died today. Diodes. We'll be picking up the pieces of my life off of the ground. All right, so what's going on here? What do we got? These have got to go. I think that gets all of them, because I've slid the tweezers through all of them. Yep. All right, let's check. Oh yeah, there's a big block of them down here. Are they melted together? Uh-oh. That might have been a little too much heat. It's possible. It's possible that I need new caps. These are looking a little melty. Yeah, I'm gonna get 4 new caps. Ow! These are like paper film caps. They're very accurate, but they're very fragile. These are the truly heat sensitive components. So these were 6.8 NF. Luckily, I have a supply of them. new caps for this. All right, so new caps, and we're gonna get all the solder out of this area of the board, and then we are going to redo all that work that we did yesterday. At least I know what I'm doing now. All right, you know what? You just live there now. It's it ramps up the air throughput in order to cool itself down. That's why you see it heating up everything around it on the thermals. All right, so over to here, we have a glowy hot board. Glowy, glowy. So let's get rid of some of the solder on it with the braid. While there's still some latent heat in the board, this will be nice and easy, hopefully. Although actually, this stuff is expensive. Let's use the solder sucker. The solder sucker is the much more economical way to remove large structures of solder quickly, or not. Really? Is this thing fighting me? No. I think there's something wrong with my tip. Maybe that may be what's going on. I feel like sometimes I'm just not getting any heat into the stuff. And the ways to solve that are either through flux, cleaning the tip, or adding a little bit of solder, because that'll add flux, and then the solder also provides you with an interface between the two objects so that heat can soak through. Two properties of the soldering iron that allow you to do this. One is the amount of heat that is stored in the tip, and the other one is the ability of your soldering iron to provide the tip with heat. So those two factors will play into how you solder anything. If you've got a particularly large pad, it sometimes helps to preheat things in the area. If you're doing like power stuff where there's a lot of copper, all that heat's going to wick away. And so you can either get in there and have a lot of heat in the soldering iron that will transfer into your thing and provide it, you know, make it molten, and you quickly solder it and get the hell out of there before the heat can transfer away. Or you have a lot of capacity of heat to your iron, and it can then make up for the wicking away effect of heat and provide you with a molten interface before all of the other stuff in the system heats up. But if you run into that trouble, I've had times where I had solder accidentally bridge between pins, and the other pin was a ground pin, and it welded the soldering iron to, well, it's soldered. It solidified the solder on the soldering iron, and so I wasn't able to get the soldering iron out of there, so I had to go get a torch. In the event of that, I have a torch, which can easily burn the FR4 of the circuit board. I have a butane-powered soldering iron, which is a travel buddy of mine. It's a very nice travel soldering iron. I have a large tip that I can put on the iron itself, or I can actually, well, I don't have any stuff for that. I mean, hot air you can use to preheat the board, and then that makes it so that you don't have to overcome as much heat in order to provide. Okay, solder braid will probably clean this up a little bit more. Solder braid tends to be a bit more thorough, but I don't know how clean this really needs to be, because we're just going to come in and install a bunch of capacitors over top of it. If you really want to do hardcore rework, the braid will get you back to looking like it's brand new. Brand new. All right, that should be good enough. All right, so we need 4 capacitors on the other side of the board. Our location was pretty good. I don't know if I'd put that anywhere else. But it needs to be on the opposite side of the board, so we need to put it in over here. I guess that provides this with a nice little cable guide. And then I guess these are going down here. Yeah, and then I have 3, so it's, what is it? It's, I gotta get this out of the way. 1, 2, 3. Well, it's 3 diodes and then this one. Hold on, let me. So the diodes are going to go Well, there's a 1K. Oh, wow, look at that. I'm going to need a new wire for this. Just pop that out. So if we branch over to the 1K, and the 1K goes up here, but the 1K goes to positive 12, which is this one. So I don't think I can build this thing upside down. I mean, I'm going to be putting wires to these anyway, and the wire needs to go to the middle one. Oh, but the bottom ones go to transistors, so it's possible that I could put the transistors in this area. So yeah, I'll want to put them in the same spot. Oh, look, and there's little bits of like yellow stuff from where these were. Oh yeah, because these need to go in over here. I almost made a big mistake. So these are here. Because then the top one gets diode, diode, diode. And then there's a 1K coming out of that. So the 1K, it would be diode, diode, and then inside, okay, yeah, into the middle. So, and actually these can go in a little bit more. And that'll fit with everybody else. That makes a big solid block of stuff, so I'm not too concerned about something brushing up against that. Look at how crooked all that stuff is. We could fix that with hot air, but I really don't want to. I've already got enough work for us now with this stuff having blown up. I can't believe that collided with the front panel. I'm so mad. All right, well, we'll get through it. We gotta put this stuff together. We ain't getting aftershocks. Yeah, okay, hold on. All right, and then the last one. Man, that's bullshit. You go through an earthquake and you still got to go to work. That's how I felt when we got the last one of these. I was like, man, why am I still here? I should be able to leave. Here, I gotta hand solder these, so I guess I'll go to this camera. This is tough because I only have 2 hands, and I need to get solder onto these in order to anchor them down. I don't like bending the leads. When you bend the leads in order to hold things in place, it's not something I like doing. I guess what I can do is I can put this down on a flat surface, like that, and then I can solder them in place, and then I can reheat them once they're soldered in place in order to straighten them out. I got my thin solder for surface mount, which is also not helping. Oh shit. Probably gonna have to redo all those wires. Okay, hold on a minute. Everywhere I turn, there is something that could be burnt. And so as I'm soldering this thing together, I am burning everything, and I hate it. I'm not that sloppy. Usually. All right, let's get this over here. Yeah, I definitely want to one-up Rabaz and build a better car than he did. Do as many cylinders as okay, so Beam NG drive. What's the other one? The one where you're building the car? How many cylinders does that allow you to have? Can I have like a really small, can I basically be Jaguar and make a really small displacement engine that has tons of cylinders, as many as we can get in there? Ow, these things get hot very easily, and so I have been exposed to that heat. And it hoits. Okay, let's get these things all soldered in now that they're moderately aligned. I got this whole pile of diodes where I want to put my hand. All these guys over here. There we go. Okay. That's 12 diodes to build this thing, so not a small amount. I hate through hole. I really do. Surface mount is so much more elegant. If we don't get to the testing phase with this today, I'll try to finish up the building phase, and then we can test it together on Tuesday. You know, Burn the Subs is next. That's next on the chopping block, and I'll do the VCO programming in the meantime, and I can just show you guys the thing working at some point. It would be nicer if we could actually round out a project during a stream, because then I can actually show the thing off at the end of the stream. But if I were to do projects like that, we would be working on like Circuits 101 stuff. Because Lord knows I know how to draw out. I mean, that's my job, is I draw out these projects into long-form content, because that's... Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get a word in edgewise, right? I wouldn't be teaching you guys how to do some of these techniques on your own. It was exposure to stuff like this that led me to streaming. It was the fact that I could get through all of my formal education in electrical engineering and not even once be exposed to solder, which is ridiculous. I had one of the professors at UPenn complain to me openly in front of the train that he was getting grad students that didn't know how to solder stuff. And when you're going into like hardcore UPenn biomedical research stuff, you're gonna probably somewhere along the way need to do some minor circuit work. Maybe, I mean, considering, you know, EE stuff propels every other discipline. Okay, those are some caps. Let's get some diodes on this thing. This will allow me to actually close the lid. So I clipped all these. I clipped the solder a little bit too, so I could just round out the solder by applying a little bit of heat to everybody. Have some heat, everybody. And then I have to figure out how I'm going to get diodes into there. Yeah, this makes working a lot easier because there isn't a big piece of plastic in the way. I could heat the two leads carefully and get it to seat in place, or I can just use the solder braid in order to remove, well, actually I could use the solder sucker in order to remove a little bit of solder, and that would allow me to go down the line. And then there's a transistor at the end of each of these. Go. We didn't already build one of the legs. I'll have to check in on the schematic to do that to see. Okay, actually, wait. I need the solder on the first one. Oh no. If I have a surface mount BC548, I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I have trouble with that. I bought just like a collection of transistors, and I think a lot of them are high power ones. They're like high voltage ones, rather. And we're looking for audio level switching. I don't have a ton of 1N4148, so we got to reuse these. Luckily, they're covered in flux. Oh, good. I can still see the marking, though. So these have to go right in the middle, which is hard for these tweezers to do. Beautiful. Beautiful. So I was talking during the intro, I actually got all of my replacement RC car parts and put everything together. And the expensive RC car kit is really, really nice and controllable. I actually fixed the little stumbling issue that the gears had. I was able to mesh the gears a little better. I think I still need to mesh the rear one a little better again, but the amount of control that I have over that RC car is insane. I would like to resurrect the WL Toys frame, possibly, but I think it would also be fun to try to design a 3D printed frame. That would be really cool. I don't know where I want to go with the RC car stuff, because you know, get a lot of viewers for that kind of thing because it's relatable. Everybody's a 10-year-old that wants an RC car. Come on. And if you don't, you need to do some soul searching because you're lying to yourself. Yeah, 1/24th scale was like my pandemic project, and I never got the WL Toys kit kind of to fully do what I wanted it to. But I think what I should have done is just stuck with the kit instead of trying all the metal frame parts. Because people have, there's a version of the WL Toys you can buy, that's by a third party, but it's all metal, which at that scale, those things can go fast enough to just screw them. Does that look like I installed it backwards? I can't see any markings on it. This is trouble. I think I installed it backwards. Well, if I just get a little bit of, do I have a Q-tip? I need acetone or goof off in a Q-tip. Do you have any more of those Q-tips? I don't know. The foam ones that were really annoying. They were sent in by a viewer. Let me get a real Q-tip. A real cotton Q-tip. Nice renewable material. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I got. I got a Raspberry Pi 5. What am I going to do with a Raspberry Pi 5? I think I want to try out NDI, which is a way for me to run cameras over the network and get that all into OBS so that I can have a remote camera station so I can actually show the, you know, like the milling machine and burn the subs. Those can be their own on their own NDI, and that way they don't take up resources on this computer's USB. I put it in correctly. Oh, okay. On to the next one. Done and done, and I'm on to the next one. This is fully glossy. Oh, here's the other side. Oh, good. Okay, so I need to turn this one around. I don't have a technique for turning it around on that axis. All I can do is twist the tweezers in my hand, which is that's my party trick. That's all the ladies enjoy. They go, hey, can you twist those tweezers while pinching that part in your hand? And I go, can I? And then I do this. Wait, hold on, let me grab this part. And then I do this. That's not. And then I promote my Twitch stream. No, and then I do this. Ooh, this diode's actually harder to grip. Well, that was 180 degrees anyway. Flipping it, well, no, 360. Flipping it 180 is a little bit harder to do. I mean, easier. Easy. Calm down, take it easy. It's all right. All right, I need to get solder on that pin before I actually put this thing down. Dinsdale laughing is just kind of immortalized at the bottom of the screen because I don't have any people watching. What time is it? Oh. Any odd tomato viewer that's wandered in has probably left. He probably went live. No, he didn't actually, huh? Okay, so more diodes. Who dis? I know we already did this, but I'm doing it again. The capacitors were too tall to fit under the Donkey Kong connectors, the headphone jacks that are used in modular synthesizers. This is a diode ladder filter. So obviously, as you can see right now, you have a ladder of diodes. I'm gonna should I put them on the outside instead of the inside? I put them on the inside and then I can't do that. Yeah, I'll put them on the outside. We'll do all the rest like this. So the properties of diodes. Diodes, everybody will call them a check valve, right? And they'll say a diode is basically a check valve. And you have peanut butter running through your pipes. But what a diode does is it has two pieces of silicon. One is an anode and one is a cathode, and they are doped. They are doped in such a manner as to have holes at electrons. And you don't need to know too much about that. It's just that if you put enough voltage on one side of that silicon junction, that dielectric, the DIE, no, yeah, not DYE. Anyway, it's a dielectric substrate, and if you put enough voltage on one end, it will end up making sort of a boundary layer expand to the point where it provides a continuous amount of whatever it is, holes or electrons, to allow current to flow, right? You're dealing with the charges that are inside of the silicon substrate, and you are manipulating them in order to allow current to fully flow through. So you go up to a certain voltage, and that allows all of the current to flow, and then your diode explodes because you don't have a current limiting resistor on anything. I screwed this up. Hold on, I'm gonna start that over. I want to put the diodes on the outside so that they have enough room for the resistor in the middle. But so anyway, that's not the whole story. There are other properties of diodes that are kind of being ignored typically because they exist all the way out on the fringes of voltages. If you have a diode, it will have a leakage current, and that leakage current is just a little tiny bit of current that's allowed to get through. You know, everything will have that, just about everything. And you have things like quiescent currents inside of batteries, where it'll actually be the amount of power that gets drained from the battery's internal properties. So, you know, capacitors have internal resistances. These are numbers on the fringe. But when you actually utilize the properties of the diode in order to take advantage of that current leakage, what you have is a variable resistor, where the amount of current changes depending on how many volts you're putting into the diode, because again, that boundary layer charge is changing and its leakage properties change. That's as far as I understand. I do not understand any more than that. You're going to have to plug your brain into Moritz Klein in order to figure out how the rest of that stuff works, because he tried to explain it to me twice personally through his YouTube video. Not personally, he explains. I watched his YouTube video a couple times, and I feel dumber than when I started, but I think that's what's going on, and correct me if I'm wrong, please. So what that does is that allows you to change a resistor with voltage. There's a whole bunch of other nuances that get into how this filter precisely functions, and I don't understand any of it. I really don't. Okay, there that goes. That one went down the hole. Down the hole. I just want to know. See, the problem with my technique is I flip it over like this, and then if I let go of it again, sometimes it'll fall not on its fit. It'll flip when it falls. So I might as well have just picked it up and dropped it. I might as well pick things up and then put them back down again. To get a little bit more of a direct light for this. Actually, I need to move the light in and have that in my, pretty much in my face when I do this. The stickiness of the flux is affecting my ability to maneuver around these things. Like if I want to push this into place and I keep this solder from solidifying, usually that would work just fine, but my tweezers are sticky with flux, and so they're pulling the part away as I try to pull the tweezers away. Son of a bitch. I had it perfectly maneuvered. And I really don't want these caps to be exposed to too much heat, because they will melt. Like they have before. Oh, that other side isn't even soldered, because this thing is being a bastard. All right, I think that does it. Nope, not at all. I think it's sticking up in the air and I can't see that it is. Okay, there we go. There's that section. Now we need 3 going upwards, and before we do that, I'm going to get myself a little bit of light. I have this studio light that I have just sitting over here with the barn doors. Oh my god, he got a barn door in the shot. Nobody told Mike Stoklasa. Alright, let's get this. And then we are working this way. So I guess we're flipping this thing back over. I gotta watch out that I don't hit any of these connectors. All right, so now 2 more. I can't see that marking. There it is. Okay. Flip you like this. Install it right here. I think I actually do want the other position. Pretty good. Is that thing down against the ground? Hard to tell. Yes, it is. Okay, and then add some solder here. Oops. Yeah, I think I was actually getting kind of comfortable working like this, because that way the soldering iron won't hit anything plastic as I go. That one. It's upside down. These things are so covered in flux. Look at that, I flipped the tweezers and then this thing just flipped in the grip. It's not fair. Okay, there we go. So, this way. So I gotta flip it 180. Okay, well, that was weird. Okay, this thing all the way out here. A little crooked. Why does it look like it's perfectly installed but crooked? Weird. There, just like that. Perfect. It must be perfect. So that's N capacitor, 1, 2. Next one goes this way. So I want the block to be facing inwards. It's never, I never pick them up in the right orientation, do I? It's like, no matter what, I have to do the little dance. Dance for me, human. Oh, there, buddy. There you go. Hey there, buddy. Okay. That one is beyond the center point, so it's actually going to kind of be a little weird. But that's one leg. Let me get the resistor on here. Then the 1K. Same resistor. We can just shove this thing on the end. And that has to go to here for power. Man, I should make a surgery robot. And I could use it to build PCBs. I wouldn't even have to be here. I could work from home. Oh, wait a minute, I'm already home. I could put the whole piloting mechanism in the other room and use the steering wheel and the pedals. Mechanical bother. There you go. All right. And I guess I like working from this end because, well, but the heat's up here. So if I work this way, yeah, I guess I'll work that way. Okay, let me get the solder off the other end here. At least enough that I can lay the diodes down. Man, that thing works way too well. It's the silicon rubber tip that really makes it. And the reason that works so good is because it provides a seal around the pin that I'm sucking solder from. And that allows all that air from the pressure difference to kind of blast the solder away from the opposite side. Whoa. That one isn't soldered on the other end. I saw it move when I touched that solder right there. I have a feeling this is going to end badly. Damn it. Fucking thing. I'm getting very mad at these little diodes. These little diodes are always kind of a pain in the butt to solder. They're always a little bit of a pain in the butt to solder. Let me get a little bit of solder over here. See if I can't make that work. Yeah, I think it's too close to the other diode is the problem. There, now it's soldered. So if I poke it, it won't move. Well, it'll move when that flows over, but otherwise, no. Okay, so yeah, 2 diodes like that. Actually, I'm going to tilt this one a little bit. There, now it definitely makes a connection. Although it looks like ass over here. Oh, that one's not connected. Son of a bitch. Oh boy. My anger is percolating. Did something break? Hold on a sec. I gotta check whether or not I'm am I still streaming? Hold on. Oh, and the iron turned off. That's why I wasn't able to do any of that stuff. Okay, go back to Twitch. Oh, the chat's not updating for me. Oh, good. Sorry guys, I didn't see you there. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna back up and I'm gonna look at this. Sorry, I was hard at work, and my social stream stuff. Either the computer decided to time it all out, or I don't even know. But nobody was talking on. I'll put Twitch chat over here so I can definitely see if you guys are talking. That's obnoxious. What broke it? It's not a scroll down issue. My chat wasn't updating. I thought everybody was being super quiet, so I just hunkered down and worked. Like I said, you need to be able to stream for nobody, right? So let's stream for somebody and let me see what you guys are saying. Nothing wrong with the little curse cookie. I didn't even know people were replying then. I thought nobody was here. I'm sorry. That's on me. Oh, it was a Nightbot message. No, it wasn't. Racism for smart people. HR is incapable of hiring engineers. Yeah. The kind of weird people, blah, 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 who wants a job like that. I already got to that one. Where's my last comment? It was Dins just saying, just laughing. And then all my shit broke. So let's see. Nothing is wrong with a little cursed cooking. The sync stuff was, that's my limit. I don't mind the dishwasher sous vide. That's actually not a bad idea. Although you clearly demonstrated that Uwo clearly demonstrated he actually does have a sous vide. So I would forego using the dishwasher, but that's fine. Perfect timing to watch. Oh yeah, speaker noise. Hey, how's it going? Perfect timing to watch solder and flux flying around. I'm driving through GitHub in search for a first doable PCB board project. Never had a project to make it to PCBs. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's a fun process now because you just go and order what you need, and you can organize it all in the CAD program. And the CAD program has enough checks and tweaks to it. It has enough stuff in it internally that it's watching out for, that you can actually be very careful about putting it together. You're not going to make all the dumb mistakes that we would typically make building circuit boards. And so I had 4 errors in my circuit board that I ordered, and they were all errors from the schematic that I should have noticed earlier. There's a lot of fun stuff to do out there. You know, if you've never done anything like this before, you could find a project that's like a kit that you put together. Because sourcing the parts is still the most annoying part. It took me a couple months to get all the parts for the modular synthesizer stuff so that I can do stuff like this. I can jump in and I can build a circuit in 1 day, 2 days. If heptane is dangerous to inhale, why does it smell so nice and fruity? Yeah, checkmate atheists. If I wasn't supposed to eat lead, why wouldn't it be delicious? 7-second displays are not matrix displays are fun to play around with. Yes, one of my first projects in electronics was trying to make a countdown timer for my model rocket. That actually, I was making a bomb. I didn't know I was making a bomb with a button on it. Hold on a minute. The first thing I built was something that used 7400 series, not the first, but it was one of my early projects, was something that used 7400 series logic, and you put all that stuff together, and it made a little countdown timer with a little display. That counts as a bomb. Ugh. Hardcore rework is another word for it's fucked. You know. Yeah, it's what it's. Oh, hey, good. Okay, so that works again. I'm actually looking at U-braids. I don't know what that is. Yeah, you guys have the internet. I don't. What car kit did I get? The Atom SZ2. It was expensive, but I just got it all back together. It's just all back together now. Atom SZ2. It is a tiny little RC car. This has a 7,500 kV motor in it now. No, yeah, 7,500 kV. The 5,500 is probably what I should have done. It is extremely fast. It is extremely stable. It's all-wheel drive, but it's not the $75 WL Toys kit that has all-wheel drive. This thing is all-wheel drive with a center diff. It's a little bit different, and it's very careful to put all the weight down low, which is really, really cool. I love this thing. I'm going to try to get a good body on it. But yeah, it's me being a big baby. I'm being a big little baby. Lurking while I work. Yeah, I didn't think anybody was chatting. I thought everybody was had gone away. So to break in like this, but you said you will send NDI from an RPi. Is the RPi powerful enough? This is an RPi 5. I got the latest one, which is I think maybe some of the previous ones can do NDI, but I'm not sure. I really wish this social stream blade would actually fucking update. Why didn't you catch Groovy's comment? What the hell? Why did all my stuff break like midway through? It's so weird. I try to keep up with everybody. That one was from a while ago. I need timestamps on the YouTube comments. Okay, catching up with chat. Still have a project where I can use this, but I thought I couldn't use RPi. Yeah, I think the latest ones can do it. I haven't looked into it yet. I think the RPi 5 should be well over powerful enough, but I haven't looked into it yet. I just bought the brain that's supposed to make it happen. Okay, Pyro's getting food. Happy Friday. Yes, happy Friday, Beat Drop Guy. Robots hate this one guy. It's not updating. I'm gonna refresh this page. Lab TV Live, gifted by Celia Russell, with 106 gift subs from Celia. Hell yeah. Whoa, that's a staff member. I just opened up the stream and I hear NDI and Raspberry Pis. Yeah, it's been suggested to me a bunch that, because I've got a lot of cameras. I have a lot. I have some cameras in here. I have a lot of there's a couple cameras in this stream, and so the thought was that in order to get video, because right now it's all USB, they're Logitech webcams. Logitech webcams fight. NDI is designed to send a bunch of video streams. So what I could do is put a couple Logitechs out by the 3D printer, which is all the way behind me, and then run Ethernet all the way back, just network. And so that'll easily bridge the gap. And then I can put one over by the gaming computer, and then I can have these just plug in directly to the computer itself. And that might alleviate a little bit of my trouble with sending stuff around. Pi 5 is nice, but it's a bit annoying because the GPIO is running on way higher frequencies than what Pi 3 and 4. Oh, so code for the Pi 3 and 4 that operates in meat space will be too weird and fast. Yeah, that's crazy. Is somebody going to make like a bridge library or something? Like, this is how you run old stuff on the new one. Did you use any ECM today? What, electro countermeasures? Or like ghost hunting stuff? I don't know what you mean. Robots hate this one guy. Pi 5 is nice. Okay, I think I'm caught up. I think I'm caught up on chat. I can't believe that. My stupid social stream blade wasn't. Look at this. Look at this stuff. So here's, I use social stream because that allows me to get YouTube and Twitch comments, and I hide it behind these windows here, right? And so that's the computer that I have my face stuck in, right? If I bring you guys over and check out my setup here, because I'm looking at OBS to do soldering, so all of my magnification stuff is happening on this screen here, and then you guys are right there next to it, right? Yeah, Uo's Lab is hanging out. Uo's Lab, how do I even begin to describe this? He exploded onto the scene for a meteoric rise to power, and now that he's consolidating his power, he's trying to forge alliances with my stream, and I'm having none of it. We've battened down the hatches, we've dug a moat around the shop, and I'm not allowing him in, but his cohorts are banging at the door. No, I'm just kidding. Uo's Lab, I've recently found out about, and then suddenly he was in my comments, in my chat, and we need to collaborate, me and him. We need to do something. But his stream is zany as all hell, basically blowing stuff up and doing all the crazy shit. I don't like to blow stuff up, believe it or not, even though my only viral clip is of me blowing something up. I like to actually build stuff. I like to build stuff with my hands. And so I do this stuff and I get 2 or 3 viewers, but I think it would be really fun if we could figure out some place that our skills meet up and we could actually do things. Blowing stuff up is fun, but I don't like cleaning up after it. That capacitor that exploded, it rained. Oh, I need to refresh this one too. It rained fucking cardboard on all of my shop. I was finding cardboard for a month after that thing happened. It was just one measly little capacitor. Okay, where's chat on this whole overlay of BS? That's my old chat. I don't think I use that one anymore. Where is chat program properties? Refresh cache. There. Okay, that should fix that. Yeah, I don't know. It's like high voltage and blowing stuff up. I don't want to marry myself to any content like that. Plus, this is what I'm good at. For us, actually, it wasn't just a reverse polarity capacitor. It was a cap that, wait, did I put that facing the wrong, are these all facing the wrong direction? Hold on a second. We need to check our diodes. No, towards the later seasons of Mythbusters, they would be like, yeah, we're just kind of like trying to figure something. All right, let's just blow everything up. They would just default to blowing. Yeah, this one's backwards. What about that one? It's hard to see these because they're covered in flux. Yeah, they just had the resources to blow everything up, didn't they? What direction is that capacitor? What the heck? So this is a diode ladder VCO. It's a VCF. It's a voltage controlled filter. And so what that's going to do is that's going to alter the waves of sound that go in and out of my synthesizer and hopefully make something, for instance, like an oscillator sound a little bit cooler. Yeah, the big cement mixer is actually what I was thinking about too. Oh, come on. That thing completely rearranged itself when it... Yeah, the problem with these diodes is they're covered in flux because we ripped them out of the other side of the board. The board did not fit together because the Thonky Kong connectors are not as tall as they seem. I'm going to use hot air. This is really getting me annoyed. Diode dance. This is so annoying. I'm starting to get flustered. Oh, God. Please come back to me. I'm sorry I yelled. With a big cement mixer. Oh, mixer blow. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought I heard cement mixer and my brain said leaf blower. Why did that happen? Big cement mixer blow up to the person who was going to trigger the high-speed camera after the explosion was just shocked. So all the footage was written over. That's crazy. They were going to... I did not know that. I mean, like... Jeez, I've done an explosion of 60 pounds of foreign commercial explosive on one of the FBI bomb ranges, and that was kind of shocking because the ground, like, it had rained previous, so the ground was very heavy clay, and it made a crater big enough that you could walk into it. But the first time I hit the button, something happened, like the RF module or whatever didn't quite get a good communication. So like they did the whole hullabaloo, the countdown and everything, and I push this button and nothing happens. I'm like, ooh, no. Because a dud is a very serious affair. A dud doesn't necessarily mean it won't go off. A dud means that it may have tried to go off and not quite gone off. And while you're in the process of getting to the dud in order to figure out why it didn't go off, it could go off. And this is 60 pounds. It was just like a big pile of commercial explosives that they had to get rid of. So I sort of took a breath. Time to call the bomb squad. They were there already. They were there. Those were the people that were surrounding me. But so I kind of went, and I pushed the button again, and then it went ba-boom, and then everything worked out. That happened in an interview a few years ago. Oh yeah, long time after it was over. That's crazy that they couldn't get any high-speed footage of it. What the hell? I'm getting a call. Hold on one sec. Hello? My drug prior auth has been approved. So I can finally get insulin. Oh, I just got Dins's PMs that told me that my chat was broken. Oh yeah, the fart button will come back. We need to do stuff with Node-RED, and that's working on Burn the Subs as well. The certificates for it expired. I did some stuff to try to get the certificates working again, but I think I forget which one of the certificates expired, because that was the fart box was an all-in-one Twitch API machine. I mean, this thing got on that API on its own, and it's just an ESP8266. This will be coming back. We just need to do a little bit of Node-RED, and we'll need to make this into a Node-RED appliance. And that's the same thing that's going to happen to Burn the Sub. So this will pave the way. It'll pave the way. I know, yeah, you guys always trigger that thing when I'm on the phone. Oh, good. Let's just pick a scab while we're at it. I'm going to get a paper towel for this. Sorry, I'm bleeding on camera again. Twitch is going to have a baby. How dare he? Okay, so we're in the middle of building the circuit. I need to make the other side of this diode ladder. I have no idea how it works, but I know that it will work, and it's all for the modular synthesizer. I put the capacitors on the wrong side of the board, so I wasn't able to actually put together the two halves in order to figure out where all of the connectors would go for the, whatchamacallits, for the potentiometers that will allow me to control this thing. Oh yeah, I need to add solder to that. So I'm going to finish this, and then we'll get the flux off of the board. I can't believe how long this is taking. I think the thing is, like, everybody's really distracted this Friday, especially me, and I've been kind of talking about a bunch of stuff, and that takes up a lot of time. I think I may finish soldering this by the end of the weekend. Tomorrow I have to do uploads for YouTube, so I need to upload like probably 3, if I can tolerate it, 4 VODs. Because I'm only scheduled into next week with the VODs, and these are just going up because they're my old videos. Like they're the streams that are no longer available on Twitch. I get so many VOD views on Twitch. I don't understand why the YouTube isn't doing so well. It's very sparsely watched. I got like 20 views on one video. One of them got 500 views. I don't know how the hell that happened. I think it's because the YouTube algorithm saw me uploading every day and decided to start recommending me to stuff. You got the shocking thumbnail worked in? What do you mean about that? Which one are you talking about? Some of the thumbnails I had a lot of fun with. What I really like to do is make it look like it's a normal stream. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but with the thumbnails on the VOD, I like to make it look like a normal stream, but I like to have an impossible number of hands in the shot. So I'll be pointing at something, and then in the side camera I'll be holding something, and then in the main camera, there'll be like my left hand. I like working little weird things like that into it, because it looks like I'm streaming here, but there's too many hands on the screen. And then if I don't have the are they calling that a soy face now? If I don't have the mouth open face, then I'll put in one of the emotes that Pixie K created. Now, she didn't make the, sorry, not emotes, but I'll put in one of the shots I took of the VTuber model that I actually have. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, Slab, I have a VTuber model, but it's just the chip. And it doesn't have a lot of functionality, but I turned everything onto the breathing mode, and that sort of like slowly moves things between positions. So I was able to get it to make a bunch of different expressions, and I took screenshots of it. I mean, I could just take a mouth open, mouth closed version of that and make it into a talking model, like a Discord model, and put that on the corner of the screen, but I don't know. I suppose if I really want zoomers in here, I should be doing that. Okay, this one moving is really pissing me off. Why were you moving? Are you not soldered in? I think just the whole diode got hot, and then both ends ended up soldering together. Simultaneously, not soldering together. Like, not like that. I mean, like... All right, let's see here. All right, get that one going. Check to see if any of my chat moved across 7,000 different monitors. All right, we're good. Okay, back down to this. Now my chat isn't moving. Perfect. That means I can work. Oh, so much stuff in the way. My tweezers are kind of hard to maneuver. How's everybody else's Fridays going? We just got done with rain, but now we have earthquake. That really brings a community together, an earthquake. You can't avoid it. Everybody felt it. It's like farting in a public area. Some people choose to ignore it. Politely. It's snowing over there. Yeah, we just got done with a nor'easter, which was like a 3-day-long thunderstorm with heavy winds. And then we just finally saw the sun, and then the ground started shaking. What was the other weather event that we had over here? Another bit. Oh yeah, we had a bridge collapse, we had a nor'easter, and now we have an earthquake. And the eclipse is on Monday. What's going on? Maybe 24 is the end times. Where is... did you see what that thing just did to me? Or wait, did it flip? No, never mind. It flipped perfectly. Never mind. Sometimes when I do the little flip maneuver, I'll end up flipping the diode. And then I'll try to drop it back down. And in doing so, it flips itself over again. And there the flux pulled on it a little bit. 16C? Jeez. You're not going to have snow for very long, I guess. I don't know how much of that eclipse I'm going to be able to actually observe. I think we see like a half moon version of it, so it might get a little dark. Oh, I gotta dab my blood. there was a scab on the back of my wrist, and I flicked it off while I was talking to you guys, and then it... Another launch from Vandenberg tonight? It's just trying... It's like, fuck it, I'm out. This place is too crazy. I'm leaving. Gets on rocket ship, flies away. Fuck this. Fuck all y'all. I'm out. I'm getting on a rocket ship. I'm getting out of this place. Everything was shaking. Wait, so if there's going to be another rocket launch, do you think they'll be able to get through all the checks and stuff after having shook the rocket? Because it's definitely not supposed to be... I would think they would have to do a lot after what happened. I ain't getting on a rocket after a freaking earthquake. Why is this so difficult? I think if I use the needle tip, both tweezers and soldering iron, I might be okay. This might be less irritating. I'm calm. I'm calm. I'm calm. I'm not totally... I'm not seeing red right now. I'm totally calm. My ears are just white noise. Giving way to a screeching, piercing, high-pitched squeal. Okay, jeez. That thing was obnoxious. Hope it's in correctly. Oh, Vandenberg's in California, okay. Please stop bleeding. I beg of you. Then beg. All right, let's see. Let's put this one in. Check which direction it faces. I can't see it. Why did that feel like I just... No, okay, that's fine. My finger just hitting stuff felt like I was unseating, like bending LEDs or something. That's the line right there. Oh, I still have to add solder to this one. Once I clean these off, we'll be able to see whether or not I installed them all correctly, and I'll be able to desolder the ones I have to. And then we'll put the transistors in. Okay, and then this thing. Oh God, come on. Okay. Careful. I have to rage quit the soldering. Did it really just do what I thought? Oh my God. All of my anger. All right, so grab it, flip it. Okay, bye. See you later. Grab this. So it's, right now it is upside down. The only way that I can tell is that these little leads go out and down along the ground. And somebody thought that that was so clever, that was such a clever way to make a diode, but really it is the most frustrating thing in the world. So if I flip it over and then I let go of it like this, it falls on its side and then it falls on its back again. Why is it like this? Why are you like this? So then I grab it with the tweezers and I flip the tweezers around and then I drag it along the ground and I let go of it very carefully and then the flux grabs it. And then I grab a wire for some reason. Okay, there, grab that. And then I reflect the light off of it and I see that the text is facing this way, which if any of these were clean and I could see them right now, I could compare and see if the band is here where there's a big shadow. But I believe that the band is on the other side. But I think my belief might be shocked to its core. Hold on. Yeah, I can't see anything on this because it's just covered in flux. You know, it'd be nice if there was like a physical representation of where that band is. I think it's over here. I'm going to solder this in this way. We'll see when I clean everything up. And people are like, bother, why don't you use more flux? Well, because it's the singular source of all of my current frustrations. That thing was like right up in the air. Can you believe that? Look at this. So if I let this solidify, we can take a look at it from the side. Look what it's doing. Why are you like this? Surface tension is quite a big thing when you're dealing with liquid metal. I guess I don't know. A pick and place could handle this if it just had, you know, leads on the side too, just like a chip resistor. Other diodes do that. Ah, crap. Come on, man. I just want this to go into the spot. See, the space between the holes is a little bit smaller than my tweezers. And so my tweezers are having trouble putting the diode in just the right spot. And that's part of what's making me so angry. All right, that's good enough. We'll clean that up and take a look at it later. We got to get the flux off of all this stuff. I guess I can't use hot air on this because it'll melt the caps again. So this will just have to look like ass, which I'm okay with. All right, goof off and a Q-tip. Yeah, the ones that I removed before melted pretty bad. Otherwise, you know, if I really wanted it to look neat, I could go over it with hot air, and then surface tension would probably sort everyone out. But in the event of, well, according to my experience using it before, that doesn't work. Give me all that disgusting flux. Goof off works really well. It's orange flavored acetone, and it breaks that flux down pretty quickly. You can see how dirty the Q-tip is getting. And it allows you to make your electronics look new once it dries. So here's what we're looking for. The band on all of the resistors. Okay, that top one is backwards. That one. Oh, the two that I put in are back. Oh, geez, come on, man. All the bands should be facing downwards. It looks like the majority of them aren't. So first one's first. We got to flip this one over. Yeah, it works really well. Like, really, really well. I'm sure isopropyl probably does about the same thing too. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the big wide tip in the soldering iron, and that way I'm going to be able to pluck these out and just place them back in the correct orientation. Everybody wants you to get those soldering iron tweezers, but they're so expensive, and I don't really know where they would be useful. All the times I've seen people who have the soldering iron tweezers, they're always collecting dust. I can't believe I got so many of these in backwards. I should have just like cleaned them off and then removed them. Flip, drop, and then slide it into place. Why did you turn? What the? Oh my God. Oh, because your side is covered in flux. And therefore sticky. So it's holding on to everything. Ugh. Anger. Anger. Pure anger. Okay, that one is flipped. All of the bands facing downwards. Yeah, H-A-H, or A-H-A-H-A-H. I'm looking up this one line, A-H-A-H-A-H. That, the whole left side is done. Now on the right side, a majority of them are bad. So we need this one to flip over. I'm gonna flip it like this so I can get the soldering iron in there flat and easy. And so flat and easy is the name of the game. This light needs to be a little taller. Hold on. I need to bring up my studio light so that I can see what I'm doing. Brighten it up a little bit too. I think it's oh wow, that went nope. What happened? Oh, the barrel plug. There we go. Get all the color temperatures correct. All right, so let's flip both of these bottom ones. Start with the very bottom. Please let go of my tweezers. It's so annoying. It's when the tweezers start like sticking to stuff, I lose my ability to work as cleanly. Like there, I need to pull my tweezers off of the diode to re-grip, and I can't because it's pulling the diode in every direction because it's stuck. Oh, you son of a bitch. Why would you do this to me? Oh, it was on top of the two leads. That's why I wasn't soldering at all. What the f... Hey, Nanya, how you doing? Nyano. Nya. Nyano cat. Is that... It's not soldered. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, there was just a lot of stuff in there. Okay, let's push down on it, do that, and then move on to the next one, which would be this one. Okay, my Alexa just told me she's not sure. Why? I didn't say anything. I wonder what command they thought. I can look up and see what command it thought I was saying. That's the other thing that I want to hook up to Node-RED is the voice commands. I haven't gone around and done that because you had to make like an account on a thing in order to make that work. That one went a lot smoother than the other one. All right, which other ones are backwards? Apparently I was blocking all of my light that whole time. Jeez. Okay. Where are these things? So block down, block down. That one just looks sloppy as hell, but it's facing the right direction. So you should see AH from all these. So that one's hard to see, but AH, 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 AH. AH, and then the top one is backwards. So the top one needs to, that one's harder to move. Yeah, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. So this isn't going to help me at all here. I'm not going to be able to get into both of these. So let me switch back to the other one. These diodes are very frustrating to work with. They treat them like, you know, oh, they're silicon diodes, so let's make them like a chip. And so if they're like a chip, when they get covered in flux, you can't see what the hell's going on. They're easier to work with on like a PCB. But here they're just a source of frustration. I need to scooch this out of the way. Of course, my shadows aren't helping. I kind of need to think about doing a different method of lighting. The problem is that seemed to have been removed without any solder flow, which makes me a little worried about whether or not it's actually soldered down. I can't believe so many of these were backwards. I guess I should have come to expect that. This is actually a very annoying joint to solder. You rub some white or silver paint into the surface. Yeah, I guess that might do it. Yeah, you're right. What does heat do to Tipex? We call our stuff white out, but still. Does it brown it? I'm just gonna like flood that with solder because that'll make sure that everybody makes a good connection. There we go. So now I know everybody's flowed over. I would love to fix this one and make it a little bit more straight on so that it doesn't bother me every time I look at it. But that's the name of your channel. But bother. I can't believe that my chat was flowing when I was talking all that BS earlier. Because I thought that I was singularly streaming to everybody's podcasts. I thought everybody just had me on mute and then they put the window behind. But there were people here talking. I'm such a dumbass. Streaming's tough. For the first umpteen amount of time, I streamed to nobody. I had a couple of Discord friends from the Red Letter Media people, from the Red Letter Media days, and they would come in here and we would hang out for a little while I did projects. And eventually, Celia Russell found me, Leb TV Live found me, and they became regulars for quite a long time. I'm eternally thankful for them. OctoJ has, of course, always been here because we just hang out. And eventually, from there, I built up a crowd, although 75 seems to have been the 75 to 100 days are behind me. I've sort of plateaued, and my YouTube stuff is an effort to kind of bring back some viewership, and it's doing okay, but I could really use, I mean, obviously, if I collaborated with Uwo, I would bring in quite a lot of people. I don't know what we would do, and I refuse to do anything but like a slam dunk. When I did the project for Tom Thinks, that was so up my alley, it was painful. That was so far up my alley. Wait a minute, that's not what that phrase, that's not how you should be interpreting that. That's not what that phrase means. No. But it was such a slam dunk project because it involved controller stuff. It involved Fusion 360 design. It had all the appeal of allowing Tom Thinks to not hurt himself. The Ergo stuff that I've worked on. It was cool. That was a really good project. I'm gonna get a glass of water, which just involves me getting up and going over here. Hup. I wish we had a 3D printer for PCs, except not shitty. Yeah, the router PCs, although I haven't checked up with the state of the art. I don't know where we are with those. But the one that I worked for the FBI as a consultant. I was right next to their tech lab where they make replica devices, among other things that I don't know about. And if I did, I couldn't tell you. All kinds of ridiculous engineering in this one place. They had all of the manufacturing doodads that the government can afford, which is all of them. And the circuit board, the heck was that? It was like a deet kind of like squeaky noise that came from the other part of the room. Given all of that technology, the circuit board that they could make to replicate a device was not good. The traces were too deep. Whatever the router was doing was too coarse. All of the vias were put in there by hand, and the silk screen was matte, which can look good, but it doesn't look like a professional circuit board. So it was I don't know, the quality was just kind of lacking. Obviously they don't have room to have one of those big machines that like Seed Studio or whatever JLPCB runs. The Wegster machine. Never heard of it. It sounds cool. All right. So now that our diode ladder's back in, I can get rid of all this crap. Ugh. I guess I can run these a little bit more cleanly. Would you stop bleeding, you dumb... You know, Bother's an okay streamer, but he just won't stop bleeding. He can't stand his streams. He just won't, like, stop bleeding. Alright, so will that reach? I think it will. We can just solder it on this side. So those are the input diodes for the plus and the minus. Plus here needs to go here. Maybe we'll just do a bodge wire. And then we need to have on the bottom capacitor. Well, actually, wait a minute. Oh no, these go to the top capacitor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, they go here. So they're almost already situated. But what I need to do is wait to do these because I'm going to need to work in this area. I need to put some stuff down over there. So I'll just move these away for now. And we'll look at the transistors. So we've got two circuits. One of them's from the input plug, and the other one, it comes down from the resonance potentiometer. What the hell just happened? I think am I fucking going insane? Hold on a second. Did something like catch the light? Is that what happened? I saw a flash of light from behind me. Weird. Nobody else is in the basement that I know of. Something is teetering on the edge, and since we just had everything got shook up, I have a feeling that something is now tapping together. So it's not aliens. Not this time. No, it's just that everything got shook. So the thing that's holding up the boards is this big L, because I'm a big L. I'm always catching L's, but so it's a big L shape. There's a little bit of overlap, but it's out of like frame rails, and so all of the weight is up top on it. So that thing probably shook back and forth quite a bit, and so it probably ended up loosening something, and now some cable is hitting up against something else and making a little noise. Oh yeah, I was on the shitter, and it sounded like somebody was moving a big piece of like industrial equipment on a cart across a hallway that had tiled flooring. So it was like bum 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 bum, and so everything was kind of like moving around a do 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 do, and you're like, what is that? A big truck going by or something? That's what it sounded like. That was it. We've had those before, but when I experienced this, I was living in Virginia, working for the FBI in Quantico. And all the cabinets were banging, and it really seemed like a big piece of like a big copier was being rolled through the hallway or something like that. Me and a coworker were just like staring at each other like, what the fuck? Because it was like, oh, haha, somebody bumped the desk. And it's like, oh, they haven't stopped bumping the desk. Wait a second, I feel really helpless. They still haven't stopped bumping the desk. I'll go drop a Wagster CNC video in Discord. I'll check them out when I get a chance. Yeah, I want to see that. But yeah, it seems like somebody's wheeling something outside that's like way too big, and you have no way to stop it. Not a terrible big deal, but okay, so what do we build next? So I have done... Well, this can drop in anywhere, right? That can drop in anywhere. It's just ground and a signal. We've got a 33K, a 10 oof, and we have a transistor here at the bottom of our resistor ladder, and that's the one that goes into the plus side of the op amp. So if I look at the way that this thing is wired, and I see the way that things are because they do, we can get done. Do more. Do stuff. Home Depot. Build thing, we help. Home Depot. Build good, buy hot dog. Home Depot. Okay, so this will come around like this, and it'll go to this row. And so that one is the bottom one, which makes it the top one, which makes it minus. And so the one that goes into plus is going to be this one out here. And the other one goes into minus. How complicated is the other one? Well, the other one goes all the way to the input, which is over here. In, out, and then this one would be the frequency. So in here possibly put its transistor over here and then run a wire all the way up to here, whereas this one we can put the transistor right there. Or I can put both transistors right here because there's space for two. Okay, so let's try that. Let's get the two other transistors. Basically, the way that I've been doing this is by building the structures the way that I want to, and then figuring out how to make them fit, instead of my usual way of obsessing over how everything is supposed to look. I orgasm every time they release a new video, and the machine isn't even that large or expensive. It's only a few grand. Really, it's only a few grand. That's interesting. I don't feel the need at all to build up that capability. I know a lot of people do, and you know, they come in here and they ask me questions about it. I don't know that much about it because I don't feel the need to be able to manufacture my own PCBs easily, because I can do that already using the global village by outsourcing all of the labor of building a PCB to somebody else. I do, however, want to turn my milling machine into a CNC. Actually, no, I could build a CNC. I have all the parts for it. I have everything that I would need. I just wouldn't be able to use, I don't think I should use the nice servo motors to do it, because those are going to be reserved for a robot, which is what Burn the Subs is going to turn into. That, or I can just eat that expense, because having a CNC is probably going to be more useful than, and then we'll look at other projects for Burn the Subs. Yeah, maybe I should do it that way. Think about that. All right, anyway, what's our pinout for these transistors? So it's emitter, collector, base, 1, 2, 3. Well, the collector in the middle makes it kind of difficult because that's connected there. And then the emitter is the first pin, and those connect together. How am I going to rearrange that onto the... This would be so much easier with surface mount, to be honest. Do I have this in surface mount flavor? I have transistors. I have a lot of transistors of surface mount flavor. I'm just not good at using transistors for anything but switches. 3D printer can make any number of brackets and holders and what more. Yeah, that's the thing, is like I can build like a metal capable CNC with all of the stuff I can 3D print. Yeah, see, these would be some of the ones that I would use, the 2907 and the 3904. 555. So the kit that I have is BC, and I looked up what the BCs are capable of, and they're perfectly fine to replace with. But then there are BC, I think it's like BC's British or something like that. Like, we don't use them here in the States. I don't know any of these part numbers. I mean, 3904, 3906, those are like the super common jelly bean ones. They would probably be equivalents in here, but I just don't know. So I'm going to put this away, and we're going to concentrate on the through-hole ones. Surface mount ones are pretty awkward, but they wouldn't take up a whole lot of room. Yeah, 3904 and SMD packages. It pretty much exists just to help people transition over to surface mount. So, pins 1, 2, and 3. The collector is in the middle. The emitters connect to each other, and then they go down to the rest of our circuit. I don't even have that transistor in here yet. I do have the one on the left, though. That would be another collector emitter thing. And then the bases go to a whole separate circuit structure. Oh boy, this is going to be difficult. Yeah, I think they specifically made those to be nice to the hobbyists. This one is minus, this one is plus. So if we build the structures over here, the two transistors can sit here and here. I can have another one here. And then from there, I can figure out how to get all the pins to the right places. But if well, okay, so the collector is the part that connects to that. And then emitter goes to the same place. And base goes to totally different areas. If I do it like that, that doesn't quite work. Why is my pump clicking? Stop clicking. Yeah, I don't have a lot of room here. one. And the other one, oh, make sure that I got that right. Hold on. Pin 1 is the emitter. So yeah, the one with the pin with the arrow is right there. So if I have the emitter here, and then I do this, this, and this. Ah, damn it, I almost had it. Come on, buddy. Ow, I hurt my hand for some reason. So, why are you tilting like your buddy? Come on, you're supposed to make a symmetrical pattern. Oh, you're ruining everything. Found some tins of hair wax in my garden. What the heck? Is somebody like waxing up their hair like behind your garden, and did they just toss the can in? I don't need this anymore. Hoop. So yeah, these connect vertically. Oh, I did that wrong. Damn it. Yep, wrong pins. Wrong pins. Hold on. And get a fresh one. So it's the first pin goes here. Okay, blue wire. Get out of here. Pin 1, 2. And then, oh, that one didn't come with it. This one goes this way. Dude. There you go. It makes this nice symmetrical pattern if I twist it. Another project that I've been neglecting is getting into the Tasmota devices and reprogramming these GVM lights so that I can have direct control of them. Currently, they're just on an IP switch, a Tasmota switch. But if I get into them, I could actually send them the lighting temperature and all that stuff, so they will stay with consistent settings and I can use multiple at once. The way that the factory wants you to use them is by connecting your Wi-Fi directly to the light and then manipulating it from there, which is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. All right, so I got to solder these down. I'm afraid they're going to fall if I... Well, they'll kind of stay. They'll stay okay. They'll stay all right. So let's get these soldered in. Get the big solder for this. The big thick solder. I'm so clumsy right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm just having a Friday, I guess. They don't seem used, but they stink horrible. Uh-oh. Hopefully you don't find like bones in them or something. All right, get into these. Very busy portion of the circuit board, but I have some room to make my circuit here at least. Yeah, those two connect, but then the bases of each of those have 2.2 Ks. So getting base to base is probably going to be the difficult part on this. Getting the collectors and emitters together should be pretty easy. Although the center channel is that, and then one of them is going to be BE and the other is going to be EB. Yeah, this is going to be weird. I've got a severe crunch for space. And those two get to connect together. And then on the top, I don't have to do anything up top. But those connect together and they go to the collector of another transistor that goes to ground, but then the other part of that goes to, so I'm going to need another transistor that connects to here, and it connects to the emitter. So it's pin 1 is the emitter. Oh, Jesus, that's that one right there. What? So there's the emitter, and then I need, oh boy. The 2 emitters and a 4.7K that goes to ground. There's the 4.7K. And that goes to there, to the, no wait, no, that's -12. Is that ground? No, that is ground, because that pin goes to ground on the 1 op amp. My work is cut out for me here, chat. This one's ground. This one's -12. This one is ground. Capacitor to -12. What the? We'll figure this one out later. Oh no, that's +12. And that's the 4.7K to +12. 222. 2.2K to ground, which isn't currently populated. But so there's a, okay, pointing device. I already bought and threw away hair grass because hair wax because it was too stinky. Yeah, I used to back in the early O's, I used to prop up the front of my hair with a little bit of wax. Maybe I was the one who threw these. Oh no, you're going into your own forensic files. So this 2.2K is this one right here. This one will go theoretically to ground, but we haven't wired all the grounds together yet. And that's on this pin. Hopefully not shorted to that. This pin, oh, I gotta watch for a short right there. That looks like it's connecting. But okay. So this is +12, the 12-volt supply to everything else. So that also goes to this 4.7K over there, the one over here. And that 4.7K goes to this pin of another transistor. And that other transistor is emitter. So that one would be the collector. The collector's right here. The base goes to the rest of our circuit. And then the emitter goes to a 4.7K. Maybe that doesn't exist yet. So this is the 4.7K and this is the emitter. Emitter collector, yeah, this is it. So right here is the junction that we have to share with the transistor that I'm trying to put in right now. And that would be on the emitter, which is pin 1. The collector goes to the 2 other transistors, which is over here. So this and this have to go to a pin of a transistor and then this. So I think I can get away with putting it up here. Oh, but we've got, that's the Donkey Kong connector. So that's in the way, but I can go here, here, and here. And then I can have the emitter pin 1 be right up next to the Donkey Kong connector. The collector has to go here. And then the base goes to ground. So actually, if I do it across these 3 pins, that'll probably be pretty good. Or if I do it across these, and then I just go boop, boop with a wire. Can I fit it here, though? What's on the other end of the 4? That's +12. So yeah, we're not using that anywhere else. What else? What is this one? This one is 2 to ground. And one of our transistor pins is ground. I could go here, here, and here. Well, no, but we want this, because both of the bases go in their own circuit. Oh, my brain hurts. Put this one over here. Yeah, maybe I'll put it over here because it does get it out of the way. All right, let's try that. Oh, does this need refreshing? No, it's fine. Okay. One thing I've been liking is Vero Route, a software to lay out Vero boards that works with KiCad schematics. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't think I have anything like that in Fusion. VCAD is free. I mean, like, I don't necessarily need all that, but those are always kind of finicky. But it is nice to be able to put things where you know where they are. That would make this less of a sort of an exercise in organizing things and more of a just like a repeat the structure kind of thing. It would be more of a kit build than a actual working with electronics. I don't know, maybe that would feel cheaper in my mind. In my mind. There we go. Back to the way they were. Free and open source. Yeah, I guess it's good to make a distinction between the two. So, where am I going with this? Sort of up here, maybe? So the base goes to ground, which is here. The collector goes over there. And then the emitter, where's that going? Collector to there, emitter to the 4.7. And then, oh, wait, this is the collector. This is the collector, it goes right here. This is the base, it goes, well, it's emitter collector base. So collector goes to the other side of that 4.7, which is, wait a minute, this might be as intuitive as they get. Might be able to just install it like this. Of course, I need to do that on the other side of the board. So it needs to go like this. What a mess. Double check. Double check. So the collector is all the way to the left there. It's all the way over. Where is that one? Oh, collector, emitter, base. The emitter, nope, that's not correct. Flip it over. Well, wait a minute, but the same pin on both of these need to be connected. Maybe like this. That one goes to ground, and then these go to two different areas. One to positive 12, and the other two. So if it were like this. Sorry, I'm trying to get this thing correct. If we were like this, which is not exactly happening right now. Get in there. So those two, even though they're diagonal from one another. Is that lead just hanging out without solder? What was I doing? Wait a minute. There's a lead that's just hanging out there without solder in it. No, that's just leftover solder. No, it's just leftover solder. So that pin right there and the 2.2 is coming off of, that's the base. So emitter is all the way out here. So I have the emitter all the way out here, and that's where it needs to be. This can connect to both of these. No, it's the collector that has to, oh my God. Sorry, chat, my brain is just hurting right now. The driest joint. This is how I feel. Yeah, I feel like if I use surface mount transistors, this would go together so much better. It's a mood. Yeah, it really is. So, okay. Collector. Emitter. Emitter is all the way on the left, right? Emitter is all the way on the left. That's the pin with the arrow. Collector is in the middle. That's the one with just the line that goes into the transistor at the top. And then the base is all the way on the right. And that one is the one that goes into the block in between the two pins. And it goes off in a different direction. The base is what triggers the transistor. It biases the silicon wafers in order to allow current to flow from collector to emitter. So the collector, all the way on the left, on these two, are lined up, right? According to the D shape, the collector are both on this center pin. And that's what feeds into our diode ladder, our diodes and capacitor ladder. God, it hurts so much. Yeah, it like mirroring parts in your brain is so difficult. It just always messes with me. So the bases of these two, this might be a problem. Bases of these two go off in different directions. So this one goes off in one direction, this one goes off in another, and then the collectors here and here. Oh, wait a minute. Emitter collector. Emitter collect. Oh, I did this wrong. I screwed this up. I screwed it up. Screwed it up. Time to desolder. The one more inboard. Let's figure out what this should look like. Maybe we take this to Paint. Let's take this to MS Paint and figure out what the hell this thing should look like. So it's transistor, and then collector, emitter, base. This is collector, emitter, base, right? You guys are seeing what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. So I need to connect it on rows and columns, and we have our diode ladder on one side. So I guess I can just represent them as symbols, but I got to figure out how they're going to go into that. No, the tester would be too much hassle. Just getting that right is just the way to do it. Boy, how do I make this into a representation of what's actually there? So right now, I could also just screenshot this and pull it in, which is, I guess, what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and screenshot this. This isn't a well, hey, I have a little bit of dyslexia as well. I got all those learning disabilities. I'm a kid of the, I'm an old millennial. I'm on all of the concentration drugs. But if I snip this picture, we can just pictorially put this together, as long as OBS doesn't freaking highlight the scene. Okay. LCRT4. What? Okay, let's go over to this and let's figure out. Let's arrange all of our CBs and Ts. And we'll end up having a great time. There, and I'll back out a little bit, and we'll just go boop. I said, are we not pasting today? Is that not a thing? There we go. Boy, might as well have been a credit card number in there for all I know. Okay, so we don't need the top part of that, and I'll keep my drawing here. So we can label these. Assuming that I rewire the one, that's one thing that I need to do. Because as it is right now, the center pins aren't aligned the way that they should be. Let me get that inboard one out, and we can go back to planning it in just a second. I'll just use the screenshot to figure out where I want to put stuff. $7 component tester with graphics mono LCD. That sounds pretty cool. The only problem is when the leads get mangled, then I have to unmangle the leads in order to put them in. I might as well just stare at the data sheet in order to get it right. Component testers are cool and all. There was a really cool thing that I wish I had a couple years ago that I saw on Alibaba for like $12. It's called the All-Meebo, and it is a little microcontroller platform that speaks that particular type of RFID. It speaks that particular RFID, and it's got a screen and everything. Really cool. I'm not playing video games enough to justify it, though. I've been working on this stuff almost constantly, uploading YouTube. I haven't had time to play video games in like a month. I feel weird. So I got to solder the more inboard one, this one. I've got to get this one out of here. Open the doors, get them out of there. What size are the resistors? These are 0805. 0603 would probably work a little bit better on this board, to be fair. But I started with 0805, I'm going to stick with it. But 0805 and 0603 are... 0603 is pretty much as small as the human soldering can do. You can go smaller and you can do smaller soldering, but it's CBT when you go that small. You feel totally inept. You can't control anything. LCT, the e-paper guy on Twitter, recently shouted the All-Meebo. Oh, Amiibo microcontroller boards. That's cool. Maybe that's how I know about it, because you guys have influenced my social media diet. You guys post stuff in the Discord, which I love, and then I pick up on it and I'll subscribe to something, and then months later I'll end up seeing like their second post, and it's like, oh, cool. So you guys end up knowing just about the same creators that I do. But again, I try to stay away from watching other creators because then I won't have my own memes. I already don't really have my own memes. It's not all about memes, guys, all right? Hey, that was pretty easy. I did have to heat up all 3 pads at once, but wait a minute. Did this actually go in correctly? Base is here. Collector, emitter. Collector's pin 1. That one did go in correctly. So this one's collector, emitter, base. This one is collector, emitter. That doesn't seem right. Wait. The collectors are this is killing me, chat. Collector, emitter, base. Well, the emitter's not supposed, it's the collector that's supposed to go here. Okay, so I already got that wrong. Let's go back to the drawing and just figure it out. You know, Shai did a lot of good stuff and he got made fun of for it. He also did a lot of stuff that garnered being made fun of, and he got made fun of for it. So what I want it to be is I want it to be the two, what does our circuit say? The collectors are on the diode ladders. So we want collector. I need a thickness that I can see. I guess this is going to be tough to see. Maybe white. Collector, collector. And then the two emitters are together. And then we've got base over here. So collector, emitter, base. So that one is like, I don't want to draw them from below. We're just gonna, I'm just going to do them like this. Yeah, because it would have to be, if we're looking at it from below, oops. Looking at it from below, it's going to be like this. And then it's going to be, hold on, brain, collector, base, emitter. So those would have to be, these two have to be swapped. Just by bending the pins, I guess. No, wait, that's not how it is. Jeez. I'll figure this out. I'll figure this out. It'd be like 1, 2, 3. Or it would be like 1, 3, 2. Like this. And then collect. We're looking at it from below. So the base is here. And then it would be emitter would be bent over here. And collector over here. So I guess facing the opposite way that I have it. Well, anyway, so we have collector emitter bases all over here. This is going to need some kind of resistor coming off of it. The collector just connects vertically to where it needs to go. The emitters collect together, and then they go to, because these are the emitters, they go to our next transistor, which is going to have to go somewhere in here with the base going to ground. And so we need to figure out where our stuff is. So here we have, go back to white, we have plus 12. We have ground. What's on the other side of the 470? This one was going to plus 12 to what? Sorry, 4.7. 4.7 to plus 12 and 4.7 to minus 12. Where does that one go from there, though? Oh, they go through the transistor. Oh, right. We got to mark down the transistor. So we've got our, collector from plus 12 and our emitter. And this is our base, which goes to a 4700 that goes to ground through there. And then that would be this here. Or no, that's on the emitter. Hold on a minute. On the emitter, that one goes to a thing that goes to emitter. So yeah, that's I got it wrong. So this one, well, all right, let's see. Try to get my brain back and have it function long enough for me to do this. The other transistor is over here, and it is facing towards, facing away. So the collector is on the most inboard one, which is right next to the big hole. So that ground that I've marked down, that goes to the collector. So that's C, E, and B. And we need the two E's, the other ones. It sounds like I'm talking about something dirty. So the E's have to go to a collector. And then that would put our base and then emitter. Wait, emitter doesn't go to emitter, does it? It does, because it also has that 4.7 on it. That goes to, that one goes to plus 12. Did I screw up, or is that actually minus 12? What pin is it? It's pin 8, that's minus 12. So that's minus 12, that works out for us. So we need to go here, and our base is going to be shoved in here where it can't really get to a ground, which is okay. I need room around this base. This one's already connected to where it needs to go. Which that one actually gets a 2 point, that's plus 12 over here. Or no, wasn't that supposed to be minus 12? There may or may not be a few things that are still messed up in this circuit. Like this wire goes to the positive power. I thought it was negative. Pin 4. Okay, let's. I've still got the thing up. Oh, on a browser window. There we go. So bring this over here and let's look at this, the op amp. So pin 8 is plus. Oh, I may have screwed up the circuit then. Because according to, okay, so double check. This is the problem with through-hole. This is what always kills me with through-hole. If we were looking at the surface mount, it would be so much easier for me to reconcile. But every time I flip the board, my brain does a little pop shove it, and I have absolutely no idea what the hell's going on. So we've got the two bases there. This one is facing upwards. So if it's facing upwards, that means the collector's all the way on the right. So I did get that right. Collector, emitter, base. So this is wrong. The base of this thing ain't supposed to be wired like that. The base of it has a 2.2 kilo ohm to ground, which is not this. That's why I love 3D View and KiCad. Yeah, there's some good features in those lines. Well, I mean, if I'm doing this in a CAD program, I'm not making these mistakes. Wrong. So pin 8 is plus 12. So that's also wrong. So that's wrong. Okay, chat. I'm rage quitting. I'm rage quitting because I'm going to need to go in and pick out a whole bunch of stuff from this circuit and correct my mistakes and sort of plan out how this thing is going to go together, because there's a couple little mistakes in here and they sort of exacerbate some of the other things that are going on. Just that power stuff right there, I'm going to need to fully rip out and just redo. So we didn't really make any progress. All I did was flip the capacitors over to the other side of the board and then waffle around with transistors, getting absolutely everything mixed up. But now at least I know that this thing will go together, right? So I'm gonna do a little building of this thing on my own so we can do testing next week. We'll be able to do testing and then we can run power through this thing, and it'll be a little bit more interesting to actually see what all the wibbling waves are doing. You see that? Now it fits. And so that's how it's going to go into the synthesizer, right? So, whoa, cool. What amazing technology. This is, you know, sometimes things just kind of fall flat on their face. You start building something and you realize that you've flubbed something else and it all goes wrong. But that's part of the process. I will lick my wounds and figure out what the hell to do with this circuit next. I might just use the microscope to take another screenshot and then draw on it again and figure out how I'm going to arrange the elements of the circuit so that everything fits properly. Oh, I have. Oh, yes, I absolutely have, and I did on this circuit. The way that happened was I did it wrong in the schematic, and then it went down. And then actually I did do it on a footprint of the button. I got the button cross-wired in the symbol, and then it all went wrong. But assuming that the parts are okay and I don't make a mistake like wiring something to ground because I didn't look up the connector pin out, you got to look up everything. If I had looked up the connector pin out, then I would have been able to catch those mistakes early, and I would have created a perfect circuit board just straight off from the schematic. The capability is there. You just need to run into the bumpers of the bumper pool game a couple times. Like, you get the circuit board in, you absolutely 100% have to build it. You have to build it and get it working. And once you do that, then you know all of the mistakes of the board in order to get into working shape. So I could have avoided those mistakes. They're still part of the process, but planning like a perf board in KiCad, I don't know. If I was planning it in the CAD program, I might as well just make a circuit board at this point. People have asked about the Pine Cell years ago, and I don't know nothing about it. I bought a $350 soldering iron because I solder every day. I use it every single day, and it works every single day. That's all I know. That's all I know. I don't have any inside information about the Pine Cell. I do have a TS100, and I think it's a very good iron. It even runs this one for the money a little bit. I don't know how the TS100 is in longevity, but yeah. So yeah, I gotta rip out a bunch of stuff from this board. I'm gonna rip up a couple of the different traces. I'm gonna figure out what I did over here, because that should be easily salvageable. And then I'm gonna work on this on my own. I'll sit down with a pot of coffee maybe on Sunday and take a big crack at this thing and see if I can't get it to be almost in working shape, so that on Tuesday we hit the ground running, right? Which one? This is the Engineer SS, or just SO2, or maybe SSO2, and it uses the Star Trek The Next Generation font. This is the only solder sucker that I would buy, because this one has a little piece of silicon rubber tube at the tip, and that's the most important part of the whole thing. The solder suckers that I've used in the past have a plastic tip. I don't know how they expect you to be able to suck solder. This thing is metal. I've taken it apart, put dielectric grease in it, and put it all back together. Just any grease is fine, as long as it's greasy. This has the little clean out thing where if you push it all the way in, there's actually a little piece of metal that sticks into here and ejects the solder from the tip. You put you buy 1/4 inch silicon rubber hose, I think 4mm. You just put it on the tip there, extend the thing, cut it right at the tip, and you're ready to go. And these tips last a long time because silicon rubber is still fine at well above soldering temperatures, so that you have this malleable tip that you can press up against the pin and the pad and everything with the soldering iron in there, and then get maximum suck out of your solder sucker. This thing is so much different than the plastic tipped Hakko or whatever brand solder sucker that always fills the air with the burning plastic smell. So yeah, if you're gonna get a solder sucker, get this kind. If you're too cheap to get solder braid, tons of desoldering braid, this thing is great. It's the only one that I would buy. It's like 20 bucks, right? It's like 30 bucks maybe. Yeah, this one's really good. Okay, you bought it for $5? You guys get stuff so cheap sometimes. Okay, anyway, this is welcome to Rage Quit. I'm rage quitting because there's some mistakes to the circuit, and I'm just gonna have to go through and root them out. I might take a screenshot of some perforated prototyping board. Maybe I'll do that even like tonight and just start drawing the circuit out and see if I can make it work. Just with MS Paint. I'm totally comfortable doing that in MS Paint, and we'll see where I can get to with that, if I can plan this out properly, and maybe then I'll build the circuit, or we'll embark on it on Tuesday, and as soon as I'm done this thing, I'll do Burn the Subs. We'll do a little bit more with Burn the Subs. So I see the clones are only recently, man. I don't know what the quality is going to be like. I hope it's anywhere near what I have. And I think I bought a new one, but I think the first one was sent in by Wexo, because he was like, all your opinions on solder suckers are wrong. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're my opinions. I am right always. And then I tried it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. oh, look at that. I was wrong. But yeah, I think the way that I'm going to go about this is take a screenshot of the perf board, and then I'm going to figure out how I can make this work properly. So until then, I bid adieu, and here's all the social media stuff. Quality didn't feel great, but after a few weeks, it feels fine. I guess if you put like grease, and the actual good grease in there, it probably wakes it up. I got Nano Cat, and I've got Speedy Cat. I gotta keep you two. I gotta make sure I know who's who. Look at that Pro Skit. Oh, the double O-ring. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not about consumer product reviews. I have the stuff that I use and I like. Oh, where did it go? Where did the RC car go? What did I do with it? Oh yeah, it's up here. I got this thing, by the way. I fixed it up. So now it's all ready to go back on the road. I need to reprint the front protector, and then the next thing that I want to do is take this piece right here off and photocopy it, so that I can make a spoiler that'll somewhat at least give this something to crash into the road instead of just tanking. Yeah, this thing has been oh, and I also got a new pinion gear, or new gears for the differential, and so now things are rolling smoothly. There's no longer like a catch. So very cool. And this is the Atom SZ2. I think at some point I'll call this a day and go back to the WL Toys kit. But is that the Mario Kart? That's what happened with the Mario Kart. I meant to make the Mario Kart into like the super cheating Mario Kart. I still kind of want to put one of these motors into the Mario Kart, one of the super powerful motors that I have for the 1/24th RC car, but clone doesn't have the double O-ring. Yeah, I want to make the like super duper Mario Kart. I might just make the plastic into a body for a 1/24th RC car, because I've had more fun with the 1/24th RC car than I have with the Mario Kart home circuit. But I wanted to make a super cheaty Mario Kart home circuit, and that ended up being a little bit too much work. If I could have turned that around in like a week, I could have sent it all over to Djibouti show and done a little collab there. Doesn't have double O-rings. Let's check. Let me just check real quick. I'm not certain if it does or not. Okay, there's a fly in here. And the big spring is going to spring as soon as I get to the end of this. Oh, or not. There it is. Single O-ring, but it's kind of a weird one. It's kind of a double. It kind of has two contact points, sort of. Oh boy. Maybe I won't get that on my circuit. Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. Yeah. Wonderfully rebuildable, though. Oh, as long as I don't cross-thread this. It's like rebuilding a flashlight with a huge spring in it. Oh, there's stuff in the threads. Hold on. Get out of my threads. This way I don't have to worry about keeping it on camera. All right, anyway, you guys got all my social medias and stuff. I haven't really posted anything in a long time. I just posted Aretha Franklin lyrics that popped into my head after an earthquake. There you go. Okay. I mean, I probably need to clean that thing out, but I'm not going to do it right now. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to work on some of this circuit nonsense on my own. Maybe I can plan it out a little bit better. We have a limited amount of space in there, and I'm getting confused with the sort of through hole, turning things over and back again. So I need to kind of take a brain break and then come back at it with a plan. And the plan is just going to be a screenshot of the circuit board with not everything removed. I'm just going to take a couple things off of it and then figure out how I'm going to arrange these transistors in order to get all the right pins in the right places. Push comes to shove, I could look up equivalent surface mount transistors. Those are easier to work with because you're on a flat plane and you're not flipping them over. The flip over always gets me. I don't know if 3904s would be a good equivalent for this thing, but anyway, I got to do a little bit of work and it's going to be super boring, so I'm going to do that on my own. And then we will get back to testing this thing. I want to do the testing with you guys because that'll be interesting. There'll be wibbling waves and noises and stuff like that. So, okay, I'll catch you guys later. Get on the Discord. That's where we all are. That's where I always am. And I will be back on Tuesday. There's still people in the house, kind of stuck in the house. So I got to do a lot of the heavy lifting around here. So I am super duper busy. Uploads are continuing. I'm gonna try my best to get just a ton of stuff uploaded tomorrow. And then yeah, sanity breaks will be taken in Discord. So I'll catch you there. Thanks for joining me for this Friday. We had a nice quiet stream, and I'm not gonna do an earthquake joke at the end. I could do an like, oh my god, it's yeah. All right, see you guys later.